All right, well, there it is. Downtown Minneapolis. It's gotten a lot more cloudier recently. I don't know if it's supposed to rain or not. I don't really think so, but we're here for the duration. Got a full battery. I've already interacted with, hey Alex, thanks for stopping by. I saw Madeline, if you remember the other day, I talked to Madeline and Julia. I saw them just as I arrived here. And Madeline has her bestie, Laura, and they want to interact with me right away, so that's awesome. So we'll have some dialogue right off the bat on this episode of Authentic Intent. We got June 10, 2017. It's still pretty hot and humid here. I did fill up with a bunch of water, so I had to use the porta potty at the beach here. So just a heads up. Yeah, the two that I talked to for quite a while at the shore. What did I talk to them for, like 45 minutes or something like that? And so I ran across them walking away and I said, hey, and it's like, yeah, what's up? And they're like, hey, we're over there by the beach, let's chat. So we're gonna go over there and dialogue with them for a little bit. I hope I can be some light for you guys today. It's just been a really crazy day in this community. It's been, yeah, I don't know, I really don't know what to say. I watched FEA's most recent post, kind of having him clear the air a little bit, so that's why I was planning on coming on about 15 minutes ago, but I really felt led to listen to what he had to say. And all right, well, we made it 2.5 minutes in before we got a connection interruption. Hey guys, Joshua here. Authentic Intent. We are hanging out at Lake Calhoun today. So that's what we're looking at. Got Minneapolis in the background. There's not enough curvature for the skyline to go over the curve yet, so we've probably got to be further away, right? For that ball earth curve to kick in. There's a lot of people over here grilling. It smells really nice. Maybe if I convince some of these people that the earth is flat and not a ball, they might give me some free food. But give me a beer. Give me a beer? Yeah. Yeah? I can't drink on camera. That would be inappropriate, but yeah. Appreciate the offer though. But you guys believe the earth is flat and not a ball though, right? Yeah, that meme is like 2 weeks old, man. So you got anything else? Got any other new material?
And I still ran it.
Yeah, you did. So what are you guys doing? Just hanging out?
Yeah, we're just hanging out, dude.
Yeah?
Skating earlier. Fucking too hot, so we came to kick it up.
Yeah, it is too hot.
Yeah, it's way too hot.
Yeah. I'm sorry, what? The earth is indeed flat and not a ball, yeah. What does that do for you? Well, I don't take other people's word for it when they have been known to lie to me. NASA.
Everyone has lied to us, man.
Yeah, but when you try to pass off CGI and artwork as outer space, I have a problem with that. Yeah.
I mean, what do you think about the whole moon landing then?
VOV would be best.
That is a massive deception.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah. So, and I see where you guys are coming from, because this took me until about 18 months ago is when I came across the flat earth idea. And before that, I had the blue marble on my monitor, which actually, looks like that guy right there. And I thought that was a real picture of Earth from space.
It's a deception, though. I could understand that, though. I've seen plenty of stuff like that just content is never as far as it is, but...
Yeah, a lot of inconsistencies, right? And they do admit that these are rendered CGI paintings.
I mean, I've never been across a globe like that, so I honestly don't know. So I'm not going to believe something that someone shows me, and I'm not going to,
Yeah, sure.
So.
And if you go from there, too, I have this guy. When you Google image satellites in space, you also all get CGI images. You don't get real pictures.
Have you been to,
Yeah, I've been to Thailand actually, and I've been to California coast and all that.
Explain to me why when you look out in the ocean you don't see other countries.
Atmosphere.
Because they're drowned.
No, because the atmosphere, you're not really able to see that far. Even if you go on right now, you're going to be told that your general perception of distance is going to be 6-7 miles. Go on weather.com right now, man, and find out how far we're going to be able to see until the atmosphere kicks in.
Downtown is from here.
Downtown from here?
Yeah. Guesstimate. If you went straight, like across the water.
Probably about 10 miles or so.
Really? Weird. I thought our deception was only 6.
What's that?
I thought our deception was only 6.
Hey, man, I don't know, man. I mean, if you want to try to put me in a box and try to, like, make me feel like an idiot, I do have over 50 hours of this content. And so I probably have a lot of your answers on one of my videos, if you don't mind checking out my YouTube channel.
Oh, I was actually about to ask.
Yeah, if you don't mind.
Yeah. Thank you.
Sure. So I don't know everything, man. I don't know all the questions, and I don't know.
No one knows everything.
No, but I do have a passion for letting people know that we have been lied to
I agree
about
with
where
that
we
100%.
live.
Yep.
We've been lied to, but the earth is definitely not flat.
Okay. And so with that being said, have you've been to the ocean, right? Shoreline and stuff. How far can we typically see in the distance with our naked eye an object?
Obviously 6 miles.
Okay. Well, whatever, right? Okay. So if you want to go with that and you want to mock and ridicule me, that's fine. But if you see an object go over the horizon, okay, and then you don't have access to a camera or a zoom lens, like a P900, for example, you're going to assume that it did go over the horizon, right? But if you go on YouTube or you do your own experiments, okay, and you zoom back into that object, you actually bring it back into focus.
Well, if the earth was flat, this is my point. There would be a drop-off point. There would be 4 drop-off points, technically, because like, unless it was like a circle.
Yeah, wait, is the
flat.
earth flat just a flat piece of paper or a cube?
Well, it may or may not be kind of like a pizza, you know, and the crust is Antarctica, holding all the water in. And so when people say, well, you'll fall off the edge, that's just impossible for you to do.
In a wall. Because if it was flat, all the water would eventually pouring out. But then again, there's gravity that's holding the water in. But if you got to the said edge of Earth, would you just see nothing?
Yeah, what would you see at that point?
I didn't hear anything you said. The airplane went by. So, sorry.
What do you think about
I didn't see you talking to me. You were talking to your friend too.
What
So
would you see at the edge of the earth?
Yeah,
I don't know. I've never been there before.
but has anyone?
Yeah, I believe a lot of people have. In the late 50s, there were a couple of different operations. Operation Fishbowl. There's a guy named Admiral Byrd who claims to have seen that. If you go back into the late 1800s, there's a guy who took a high altitude balloon over 150,000 feet, and he claims verbatim, the Earth is a flat disc.
Also gone to space. And my weird thing is like, alright, so the Earth is flat, cool, the Earth is flat. Who fucking cares? But if we've gone to space, and people have gone to space and taken pictures, astronauts have said taking pictures of the Earth from space, why, in fact, would the government or NASA lie and say the Earth is flat? What's the
What do they have to
big
gain?
deal?
Yeah, what would they have to gain for it, right? Are you familiar with like the stock market, gold, silver, oil, and stuff like that?
Yeah.
All that stuff is pretty scarce, right? Like they say, like the reason why the prices are the way that they are is because there's so much demand for them, right? Particularly gold recently, right? And so if we lived on a globe, right, and all the resources that we have are what we have,
Gold is
then that would make
actually
sense, right?
now.
For those items to be limited. But what if we did live on an infinite plane that had more land, water, and resources for us, and the establishment knew that, but they kept that information from us?
But it's not infinite.
How do you know that, though?
There's no possible way it could be because if
How do you know
look in
that, though?
space, you can see other things.
Outer space doesn't exist, man. I mean, it doesn't exist. It's not something that can be traveled to.
Something.
Where do you get your ideas of outer space from?
Alright, so you
Where's the
take a
main?
telescope.
No, but where? Can I ask you a question? In your imagination, where do you get the typical ideas of outer space?
A telescope.
A telescope. Okay, and you're in outer space with a telescope? I don't understand.
You can look from here and see outer space.
No, you can see lights in the sky that are unique, man.
But what are those
I
lights
literally
caused
own a
by?
fucking telescope where you can literally see
No, but what are those
different-
lights?
Okay, I can give you my opinion. Okay, I can give you my opinion, and you can roll with it. If you Google "space is water," okay, space is water. It's not an infinite vacuum like we're taught. Okay, and so when there is energy and vibration in water, it can create unique lights in the sky. They can actually create quote stars as an experiment in water beakers.
But,
This is what I got when I Googled space is water.
but wait,
Yeah.
then why is like the North Star always in the same spot every time? And, like,
Why? But
constellations?
yeah, and that makes sense. Why is it always? Because do you know how fast our sun and our solar system are traveling through our Milky Way galaxy?
Around the Earth.
No, we're traveling around the sun. That's what they tell us, right? How fast is our sun, including our solar system, traveling through the Milky Way galaxy?
So we're traveling around the sun.
Yeah, we're circling around the sun, but the sun is also taking us through the Milky Way galaxy.
Flat Earth, the sun is circle.
Okay, you gotta follow me here, man. I know you've been inebriated here, okay? You gotta listen to what I'm saying, okay? We're traveling around the sun, right?
Okay.
What we're taught. The sun is moving through our Milky Way galaxy, okay? How fast are we moving through the Milky Way galaxy? Do you know?
No.
Okay, we're moving over almost 500,000 miles an hour.
Man.
The constellations should have changed hundreds of times, just even in the last year, if we're traveling that fast.
Why do you think that?
No, we should.
The constellations should have changed, but they don't, because we're on a flat, motionless, stationary plane, and the constellations move around us. We don't have dominion over the sky. We have dominion on Earth. So to use the idea that we can travel into outer space is fantasy. It's not a real thing that can happen. And the only reason that most of us have an idea of outer space is because of Hollywood. Because they have a contract with NASA to create the idea that solar systems exist, planets, and aliens.
But wait,
I
so
didn't
we
get my idea from Hollywood. I got my idea from them actually going to space.
You didn't go to space, man. You only go to space in your mind.
Watch literally a
Shut
rocket
up, Larry. Okay.
take off. Where'd
Okay,
that go?
sure. Where did it go, man? Do you think it went to outer space?
Where else would it go?
Yeah.
Well, if you actually investigate, you'll find out that they actually, most of them just fall back into the ocean, and then they pick them up.
Well, what happened to the ones that are now coming back down and landing?
Yeah, where
They're lying to you about that, and I don't believe them.
Where did they go and where did they come back from?
They're lying to us.
So pretty much they just shot something up and then everybody left and like a week later it fell back down. They're like, all right,
No. They shot something up to give the illusion that a rocket was going into outer space,
It's a meteor.
but it never did.
It's a meteor.
And so, I mean, if you want to believe what you're being told by people who regularly lie to us about everything, that is totally up to you, man.
what about
And I see where you're coming from, because I used to be right where you're at, too.
At the same point, like what credibility do you have?
I have almost 2 years of quote credibility of just doing my own research and just discernment from Google.
How accurate is Google though? I've found
Well, how accurate?
lies more than anything?
Yeah, but see, the funny thing is that if you use your .edus or your .govs, those are quote credible because those are quote mainstream, right? But I don't believe what those people say.
The ones you're using are other people that are doing their own research and
Uh-huh.
putting on like a blacklist website, not technically blacklist, but they're just throwing their own research out, and then you're watching that, believing that because it's not something the government told you.
And that may or may not be true, but I can discern whether I want to believe it or not, man. That's the best part about America, is I can believe and give my opinion about anything I want and present it to other people to provoke thought. And that's why I'm here. And if it challenges you and what you've grown up to believe,
I don't
then I'm here. That's what I'm here to do.
do your own thing.
Yeah.
I don't mind it.
So, but I am here because I'm passionate to let you guys know that what we've been taught in school has all been a massive deception. And I went to public school just like you guys here in Minnesota.
I've always thought that.
So, yeah.
I still believe 2 + 2 equals 4.
Well, that's fine. I mean, and when you're sober, maybe tomorrow or next month, this type of interaction will maybe pique your interest about something. So,
2 beers fucking up.
I guess. I mean,
You're crazy.
so where are you getting your basis that it's flat?
Look how much I got.
water doesn't curve, man. That is the basics of everything, man.
What's your theory of gravity?
Hey now.
Gravity doesn't exist because it's just buoyancy and density. Gravity is just a name that they have to give that idea. And it was really based off of planets. Why celestial bodies are attracted to each other. And then they think that they can use that here in our environment, but that's not true. Because when you put water, when you dunk a tennis ball in water and you take it out, the water just drips off of the bottom, right? Okay? And then if you're able to like throw it up in the air but spin it, what happens to the water when you spin a tennis ball? It flies off usually towards the middle, or what we would call the equator, right? But that doesn't happen.
The tennis ball doesn't have enough mass to hold water.
But I'm saying that is not a reality of how our Earth operates. Because gravity doesn't work like that. Gravity's not able to hold the water in a ball like they tell us in school.
Yeah, but if the Earth was flat, all the water would fall off.
I just gave you an idea, man. And here's a better visual just to kind of give you an idea of what I'm saying. See that picture?
That makes no sense.
No, it makes plenty of sense, man.
So which one's the North Pole, which one's the South Pole?
Well, I can show you here if you just want to hold it for a second. That's the North Pole, right? Because that's the North Pole.
Yeah.
And then all of your compasses point to the North Pole.
So what's your stance on climate change?
Cow farts.
Cow farts?
Yeah.
It actually does exist. Is what you're
No,
saying.
it doesn't.
No, it
I'm
doesn't?
making complete fun of it because that's such a lie, man.
So
Cow farts cannot change our environment.
So if our South Pole and North Pole are melting, what's gonna happen when this melts all the way through? Then?
If you want to believe that stuff is true, that's up to you, man. I will tell you right here to your face, in your eyes, that that's a lie, man.
Alright,
And to
it.
believe
I
that-
believe too.
That's up to you. But I will tell you that you need to investigate why the propaganda of climate change is going around. And
Well, if there was propaganda of climate change, though, why would they keep trying to push fossil fuels on us and not cleaner energy sources?
what are fossil fuels?
Fossil fuels
Yeah.
is when dead animals from millions of years ago in the earth have been compressed, the carbon has been in the earth, and we turn it into crude oil or natural gas, and we mine it for energy.
Okay, what kind of animals?
Dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs. Okay.
Plant material.
Okay.
All sorts of organisms.
Sure. And so heaven forbid that I was to die, right? But you were to find just my finger.
Hey, this is a perfect representation.
Okay, are you going to be able to create a new body of mine, a replica from just my finger? Does that sound like a realistic idea? To recreate a physical forming entity from just one bone? Okay, I mean, yeah, and that's where you're at right now, and I totally understand where you're coming from. But I don't believe dinosaurs really ever existed. Because they weren't even really, quote, discovered until the mid to late 1800s.
So what's your thoughts of evolution?
Evolutions don't exist either, man.
Really?
Yeah, because if space doesn't exist, then the planets and everything, that's just an idea that is given to us to promote that idea.
So you're saying that nothing that exists is
But there's proof. That we have legit proof.
You do. You have legit proof? Because you're saying we, so like you and your
Human
two
race.
friends?
I'm saying that, think about this. How many billions of people
Huh?
are there out there, right?
Oh, well, if you believe that what they tell us about the population of Earth, okay.
Hey, that's the thing is that people come to this sort of idea of they.
Yeah, the establishment, man.
The establishment.
Yeah, the people who run and make our
It's too
laws.
vague, but there's way too many people out there just like you that are passionate about the things that they do,
Mm-hmm.
passionate about the discoveries. And if you want to listen, like I mean, I've been listening to podcasts about things like this too that you are very passionate about. But I don't know. You got to take it with a grain of salt, man. I think that
Yeah, we do.
you can't get. I don't know where are you getting your information.
I probably get my information from the same medium that you do, the internet. And you choose to trust what you do, and I choose to trust what I do, but I just don't believe what they're taught. I just don't have time for that right now. I'm actually going to meet some friends over at the other side of the beat.
Down the name.
Oh, yeah,
Joe
yeah.
Rogan Experience.
Yeah, Joe Rogan's a sellout, man.
You think so?
Oh, I know so. Yeah, he sold
You know
out.
him, right?
He sold out on camera. He said he would lie to his parents or his mom if the establishment told him about various conspiracies.
And you have proof of that?
Yeah, you can Google it, man. He did it on camera during one of his TV shows.
Really? During the TV show?
During a TV show, yep. And he's a liar. And I tell it to him to his face. Him and Eddie Bravo can jump off the edge of the earth.
Really?
Yeah. So if you listen to that type of stuff, do you believe Alex Jones is also credible information?
I don't know why you're saying you're pointing accusations at me.
No, I'm asking you. Do you believe Alex Jones is a credible source of information?
I think there's some things that he's a very big wacko about, but you
Okay.
know what? If you've ever heard him on Joe's talk show, he's
Yep.
friends with him, but at the same time, he keeps him real.
Okay.
He keeps a level head on him the whole time, and he actually corrects him on things that he doesn't agree with him.
Okay.
And that's why I do think that Joe Rogan is credible.
Okay.
Because he's hungry for knowledge. He's not disclosed when you talk about other people that are actually on the other end of it. That's what science is, right? It's a series of ideas that will, or they do or they don't work, and that's what we learn from them. But if you're closed off by other people's ideas and you tell people to go jump off the edge of the earth, that limits you from knowing how.
No, I'm telling him, Joe Rogan. Yeah.
I'm saying, but that mindset,
I wouldn't tell you that because I don't know you.
I know, but
Yeah.
that mindset though, it's.
I just have good discernment in terms of who I feel in the past since 9/11, since I woke up then, that who's credible and who's not.
Think about this: 9/11 was a conspiracy, but people conspired to do it.
Uh-huh.
But you are believing that our government conspired to do this.
Oh, 100%, man.
100%.
100%. And I don't even believe airplanes hit those towers.
I was
So,
at the other end.
okay.
The same thing, telling my friends the same exact.
Sure. And and I use this term because of lack of a better term, what peer pressured you into kind of, quote, falling in line and conformity to that idea?
To the conspiracy?
No, to where you are at with 9/11 right now.
Well, that's the thing. What proof do you have or you don't have? It's people throwing around accusations, and in the end,
Sure. And it's my opinion, and that's the best part about America.
Be consumed about that toxic bullshit.
Mm.
Life is way too short. I don't get why you're so involved with it unless it's taking you places. I get that.
Yeah, it is going to take me a place because I'm held accountable for what I feel led to do. And if I sit on my hands at home and I take in all this information but I don't present it to people who don't know about it, I'm held accountable when I die. And I don't want to have that burden on my heart for the rest of my life, knowing that I coulda, shoulda, woulda.
So are you a Christian?
100%. Yep. Yep. I believe in Jesus Christ as God. And I believe that it says multiple times that the earth is flat in the Bible, particularly in Psalms. Yeah. And then in Isaiah, he also differentiates between a circle, like a pizza, and a ball or a sphere.
You're quoting the Old Testament. And
I am, yeah. I'll quote the entire Bible because it's all credible, man.
And you're sitting here arguing with me, and
But that doesn't, you having a tattoo on your arm doesn't make or break you of a Christian, though. It's your works, it's your fruit.
You know what the Holy Spirit is? It works within everybody, and instead of actually, confronting your brother about the same belief, now I feel that you are the opposite of it, and you're bashing it.
Yeah, that's
So
your
it's
opinion, man.
This is how I feel.
But you showing me your tattoo and thinking I'm arguing with you about something doesn't make or break you as a Christian, man.
Questions. I'm
Yep.
trying to talk with you, and you are completely hostile. You are completely at the other end of something that you think is positive, but it's totally negative.
Okay, but you just told me that you don't think our government had anything to do with 9/11.
Didn't say that. I'm
Okay.
saying that the whole fact of conspiracy, we didn't get completely into it, which I don't want to with you, because obviously that's going to end up into a big thing. But I used to be the exact same way. I used to believe in 9/11. I believe that was a conspiracy. You do some research, but honestly, what are the solid facts of it all? And are you going to really believe in that just the same as that you think that you
Yeah.
believe in everything that you do? And I respect that, dude.
Okay, appreciate
You're
that.
out here with your camera getting reactions out of people. And it's,
Well, I'm getting reactions because I'm passionate about what I'm doing.
and so am I.
Yeah.
And now, I'm trying to talk to you and get to you on a level head, and you're completely at the other end of it.
What am I at the other end of it? You asked me if I was a Christian, and I agree with you. And so what is there to argue
I
about?
would love to play that back. I was just asking you a question. Why you're quoting the Old Testament?
Yeah, because the Old Testament is just as credible as the New. They're in the same book. So why can't I tell you that Isaiah differentiates between a circle or a pizza-like object and a sphere? He tells you that the earth is flat.
You realize what the New Testament is, right? It's when it's the story of Jesus Christ, right? And you realize what the Old Testament was.
Hey,
It was
buddy.
a key.
Hey,
It was a key to understanding.
Shut
And
down.
you realize
No
that
dogs.
Satan, when he got cast out of heaven, with 30 angels.
Who?
Satan.
Okay.
When he got cast out of heaven, with 30 angels, he took a third of them with him. And not only did he try to destroy the bloodline of Jesus Christ, so that Jesus never happened, because Jesus is our salvation. Right?
Okay.
Righteousness, and he was a perfect
There's a worm in the
sacrifice, and that's
sand.
what the New Testament is.
gonna bite you.
I'm saying there's far from few between all of that. And us trying to compare,
hey,
it's just the same thing like you talking about dinosaurs and how you don't believe
Yeah.
that there were.
Yeah.
But
you can throw sand all you want, just don't hit the
it
ducks.
doesn't matter really, like unless you saw it with your own eyes, how would you know?
Yeah, yeah, and you're right about that. But it's my opinion, and I can openly say what I want to in this country and provoke thought that dinosaurs might not exist.
Who corrects you when you need to be corrected?
My community that I have on YouTube right now. Yeah, and you can message me if you want. I have a YouTube channel.
Why not the opposite?
And so then-
Thank you. Why not the opposite?
Okay, so I'm giving you information so that you can discern whether or not I'm credible.
Come at you. That's exactly
Okay,
what I'm
but
asking
you
right
you
this second.
you believe that Joe Rogan is a credible source of information. I have a YouTube channel, and I can give you my YouTube channel, so then you can decide whether I'm credible or not. So, but you talk to me. I was talking to these three gentlemen here.
These are my
first.
good friends,
Okay, great.
and they didn't feel comfortable around you.
Oh, they didn't. Okay, well this gentleman did. He's quite
The one
open.
that told me.
Awesome. Cool. And I'm glad that we all had this conversation so that we're all going to be held accountable for what we do with it afterwards. Okay?
Buddy, stop throwing stuff at the
So,
ducks.
and the earth is flat and it's not a ball
You're telling
like
me
we were
is
taught.
that you have for real facts. Like you've seen it.
Yeah, the earth, but water doesn't curve, man.
It's so funny. What about the people that have been to space
They're liars.
with video cameras? A guy jumped out of space, and there was actual
The Red
footage
Bull?
off of it. Yes.
Okay, and are you familiar with what a fisheye lens is?
Yes, dude.
Okay, so you don't think that they used a fisheye lens? You don't think that they used a fisheye lens when they...
Wouldn't distort that enough to make it look like a sphere.
Literally,
Fisheye
you can
lens just
see
makes
the-
stuff
you
look
can see
closer
it spinning.
when you're
And not only that,
No, it actually concaves and curves a flat plane. That's what they do to deceive
what
your
you
mind.
believe is that it's not a flat Earth exactly. It's kind of like it's flat, but it goes inward. It has an inward shape, right? That's-
No, please don't put words in my mouth. I believe that it's a flat, motionless plane like described about in the
Stop throwing
Bible.
shit at the ducks.
And also, water doesn't
Stop throwing
curve,
shit at the
man.
ducks.
There's no way that water
What'd that
curves.
do to
At
you,
what
buddy?
point when you're going towards the horizon on the ocean,
It's
do
not
you
food,
feel
though.
like you're
throwing
going
it at the
over
ducks.
a waterfall? Do you feel like you're going over a waterfall when you're...
laws of physics. It's called science.
No, it's called... If you believe science more than the Bible? Can I ask you that question?
Why can't I take it all as with a grain of salt?
Okay, well, you can. But in my opinion, science is a religion, and it's used to propagate a lie. Yeah, it is. Yep. 100%. Well, I have cystic fibrosis, okay, which is a terminal illness, okay, and I've been kept alive through real science. I went to the dentist a couple of days ago, okay? That's real science. But to throw in the idea that we can travel to outer space,
When did I say that?
I'm saying this science is also compartmentalized in with
We
dentistry.
know more about space than we do our own ocean.
No, that's what they tell us, but outer space is fake.
Dude, what are you doing?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, the establishment,
And then
man.
the same thing goes on with when you believe in the Lord. You say, it's
Yep.
the Lord.
Yeah.
Sense.
Yeah.
You're saying the Lord's
Yeah,
absent.
they is the god of this world, man. And he has deceived the eyes of those
How does that feel?
human beings that refuse
How
to
does
follow
that
the
feel, dude?
truth.
You're throwing stuff at a
And if
duck,
you're
dude.
conforming to the world and everybody believes that the earth is a ball, then you're conforming to the world, right? So I just choose not to
I trust
conform
you,
anymore.
buddy. What's he still doing?
And I'm going to let people know that we're being lied to.
He doesn't understand.
So
Tell your friend that he doesn't understand this shit.
I'll kind of leave you with that because there's more fruit elsewhere.
He don't understand.
So I really appreciate you guys' opportunity to talk to you. And you guys have a good afternoon.
Yeah.
And if you laugh when I walk away, I mean, but you can't dialogue. All right. Grilling. All this food makes me hungry here. But it's tempting though, because there's probably pork in a lot of this food that these people are cooking. I don't want to eat any pork. All right. We're gonna go talk to some ladies that I spoke to earlier and see how they are. All right. Hey, Hope for Truth. Thanks for stopping by. There's a couple people here today, right? All right. I see where they're at. All right, hey ladies.
Oh my god.
What up? I got caught up with some guys over there. Some guys wanted to have a conversation with me, so it went pretty well. Yeah.
Oh god.
All right. We're live on YouTube. Say hi to everybody.
Hey guys.
Hey YouTube. All right. So what's up today? How y'all doing?
Good. We got at the beach all day.
Yeah? Right on.
Grapes.
With grapes?
Grapes.
Yeah. Fermented grapes?
No, just regular.
Yeah.
I think they were with fermented grapes last time.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were.
Yeah. Oh, you did have a little fermented grapes. Cool. How long you been here for? 3 hours? Yeah. Yeah. They had a Hello Kitty thing at the Ridgedale Mall. It was like a Hello Kitty cafe. It's like a van that had like a bunch of overpriced stuff.
I wouldn't want the overpriced stuff, but just for the Hello Kitty experience,
Yeah.
I would do it.
Yeah, it was all overpriced and $27 for a t-shirt, $15 for like some cookies.
That's why I go to
Yeah, exactly. And then you got a mug for $13 and they didn't fill it up with anything. And I was like, this is a cafe? What the hell is this? Coffee. Yeah. I mean, if I'm gonna pay $13 for a mug, put some coffee in it. Yeah, right? Like, put some coffee in it. But they were just mugs, and I was like, all right. So, sandy grapes. That's awesome. You did?
Yeah, it was your fault. I know it was. Now I have to
You name your hand Sandy?
Yep. Sandy walking off.
Oh, nice.
I have to bury them now.
Bury your grapes?
Maybe grape trees will
Yeah,
grape
they'll grow.
vines will grow here.
Right. Well, now some child is going to pick them up and eat them.
Maybe a squirrel. They'll be happy. Something will end up happening.
So I assume y'all live around here, right? Or close enough? Yeah.
Like 20 minutes.
Okay. I live out in the Minnetonka area.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Plymouth.
Okay.
So just so you know, we did check out all of your like little comment posty thing. I still have it.
Okay.
I don't have my phone on me.
What'd you think?
I like them.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no. Thanks, ma'am.
What does your sign say?
We'd let people know that satellites don't exist because everything that we get from NASA is CGI
photoshops?
and Photoshop. Yeah. And they actually admit that.
They actually admit that.
Yeah, they actually admit that. And so it's kind of sad.
So like no one went to the moon or anything?
No one went to the moon or anything. Or went to outer space or any of that. And so what do you think about space travel?
The race to the moon didn't happen with Russia and the US.
No. Well, it did, but it was used. So let me give you an idea, okay?
Okay.
The whole reason that we quote went to outer space is to give us the idea of the blue marble of this guy right here,
Yeah.
right? Of that, okay? And so you and I, we're gonna go into an airplane. Okay, you've been into an airplane before,
I
right?
actually haven't.
You've never been into an airplane. Okay, wow. Okay, so okay, well we'll use an airplane anyways, okay? So let's we're in an airplane cabin, okay? And we're gonna black out all of the windows. Okay, so now it's pitch dark in there. Okay? And we're gonna take off one of those shades, and then somebody on the outside is gonna take a transparency of something that looks like the blue marble
Yeah.
from outer space, okay? And then the photographers, they're gonna back up about, 10 feet or so. And now remember, the entire airplane is pitch black except for that one window that has the transparency of the blue marble.
Okay.
And then they take a picture of that. And then with that picture, it looks like the blackness of space with the Earth. Okay? And so that's why they went to the quote moon, is so that they could provide evidence that they are outer space. They said that when they took this picture, that they were 130,000 miles away from Earth.
So why would they go through all the expenses of building rocket ships if there was no moon or if there was no going to the moon or outer space? Why would that happen?
To deceive your mind that outer space
Just
is real.
for the fact of deceiving people.
Because
But
they
what
have,
does that do?
because they
if
have
there's
control.
space-
Yeah. So they have the ability to print money, right? With the Federal Reserve, right? Okay. They have all of the land. They own everything, right? They control everything that is to do separate from human beings, right?
Yeah.
So now the next step is they want to control your mind. And if they're able to control your mind through the idea that evolution is true, because outer space is real and it's billions of years old, and you teach that in school and you don't give people another point of view, doesn't that kind of sound like church?
I mean, I guess, yeah, but I'm definitely, I'm going into biology.
Yeah, that's
I'm
real
a
science.
scientist.
That's real science.
So
Yeah.
you agree with that, but
Of course I do.
Gravity.
I actually have cystic
About
fibrosis.
gravity.
Do you know what cystic fibrosis
Yes, I do.
is? Okay. I was born with cystic fibrosis and I'm 36 years old now. Okay, I was supposed to be dead before I graduated high school, right? Because I was born in 81. But, as I got older, I just, for whatever reason, I stayed alive, right? And a lot of that has to do with science and the medication that's delivered and whatnot. And we could go into cystic fibrosis another time. I have a totally objective view to CF, but yeah, so that's science. But to include that type of science to keep people alive, along with space travel and evolution, I have a problem with that.
You have a problem
Yeah,
with
I have a
evolution?
I have a problem with that, and I have a problem with outer space because that stuff isn't real.
yeah, I can maybe see how outer space can be argued because apparently only a couple people have seen that, but evolution, that's a pretty hard fact.
Okay. Yeah.
And not for you.
No, not at all. No. Because if outer space doesn't exist and everything that they give us look like Disney cartoons, like all the planets, Mars, Jupiter and all that, if all that doesn't exist and all we have here is just the Earth, then how are they able to use... Hold on, I get disconnecting issues, so hey, we're back. How does could you repeat it again? Maybe
Yeah,
I
how
missed it.
does evolution connect with the fact that they're saying there's an outer space?
Okay. Do you believe in aliens from other planets
Yeah,
and stuff?
I would say so.
Okay. Have you ever seen the movie Prometheus before?
Yeah.
Okay. They use Hollywood to kind of use their occult. Okay, so in my opinion, aliens don't exist. Okay, I think that they were just made up. And so, if aliens do exist in the evolutionary term, they would be our evolutionary advancements, right? Like they would be superior to us because they have newer technology, right?
Sorry, who says that?
Just, I would say the scientists like your Neil deGrasse Tysons, your Carl Sagans and
I
whatnot.
love all of your points, but like we seriously are just trying to enjoy this night. Wonder weather. We really want to get into it.
Yeah,
Is that cool?
yeah, go for it. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like we're not trying
Oh, hey, do your thing.
We love your podcast. Seriously, we watch your podcast, your YouTube cast. We watch your thing and it's amazing. And we keep watching.
Yeah,
We'll run into it again.
sure.
But like we just want to get.
Oh yeah, I just thought you brought me over here to
Oh, we
talk.
did.
Yeah,
And yeah, no.
sure.
I'm so glad that you were able to like show at least some points to her because like I feel like she thought that we were crazy.
Yeah,
So thank you for
yeah, you're welcome.
telling her at least a little bit.
Okay.
And we'll run into it again and we will talk to you for
Sure.
a longer period of time.
We'll be here a lot.
But like
Yeah.
it's just that right now it's like the last hours of the day, so we like have to get. into
No,
it.
I totally understand. It's
Alright.
totally fine.
Thank you. Give me
Yeah,
a
you're
handshake.
welcome.
I'm all Sandy.
Hey, you're
so,
welcome.
but
Yeah.
Thank you. And
Do-
I still am following you on YouTube and everything.
No, that's fine. Have you
will run
have you
into
seen
you.
my YouTube channel separate from her?
Here,
I can
I'm
just
gonna
give
put
it to you.
on my phone for you.
You don't have your phone.
Okay, well I'll put it in the towel. Purse.
Yeah, put it in the towel.
Well, this is yours.
Yeah, put it in the cat purse. That's mine.
Yeah, no, you're
All right.
awesome. You're super
Hey,
interesting.
no, I
Everything
totally
you say,
understand.
like, I was just trying to convince her that I was like, I'm not crazy. This guy actually told me very legitimate points.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know how convinced I am, but
No, I'm not here to convince you. I'm just here to provoke your thought.
Just put something out
You know,
there.
and then if you want to dialogue later, message me or whatever. But
She has
I'll see you
her
around.
thing.
Yeah.
Your thing and her thing. Yeah.
Cool.
your thing isn't my thing.
All right, see you, Laura.
See ya.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah.
Castle. Wow.
So destructive.
She killed my skin.
All right. Have to adjust up here. So that was interesting. All right, we're back. There's a lot of people here still. I'm gonna just pace around with my sign like I did last time and see if I can provoke some ideas and thought. How's everybody doing today? Thanks everybody for hanging out and stopping by. Thanks mods for regulating in the chat. We are just gonna cast out my lure and see if we can attract some interactions and conversations. All right, well you gotta love these disconnections, right? So yeah, we are live on location in Lake Calhoun, Minneapolis. So you will experience some lagging, pixelization on your screen. That's because we're live, okay? So just try to be patient. Hang back if you want. You can come back later, and when this uploads, you can watch it then, or stay tuned for unrehearsed, unscripted interactions with people about the Earth being flat and not a ball. So, yeah, she was pretty cute. She was pretty cute. Satellites don't exist. Everything NASA gives us is a painting and or CGI of outer space.
How sure are you?
100%. They actually admitted on NASA website that everything they give us is a fraud.
So satellites ain't shit.
Ain't nothing. Nope.
What about satellite TV? That's fake?
Yeah, 100%.
What?
Yep.
Yeah, I believe you.
Does this look like a picture of a real satellite in space, sir?
No,
Just,
that does not.
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't reflect the light from the sun to create its own light. Does that make sense? Like we're
So-
taught in school.
So if we flew up there, whatever, how many miles, you don't think we'll find it?
If we were able to go to the moon or the sun location, it may or may not be about 2,000 to 3,000 miles away. It's actually a localized light.
And so what if we did make it there?
I don't know. I've never been there before. You know, and
So
I
what
don't,
is this?
You mean you're not an
You don't think
astronaut?
that they actually did?
no, I'm not an astronaut.
So you don't think that they actually did? Or what is this?
I don't believe that we actually landed on the moon. No, not at all.
What are you running around with the picture trying to do?
I'm just trying to provoke thought and let people know that the Earth is flat and not a ball like we're taught in school.
Yeah, I believe that.
Hey, right on.
Excuse
I
me.
do.
I don't mean to interrupt you or
No,
anything.
you're good.
But we're right here, and I don't want to be recorded. Can you move over? Can you move your interview over this way slightly, or that way, so we're not right?
Do you have a cell phone?
That's irrelevant.
I know, but I'm just asking. Do you have a cell phone or
Irrelevant, brother.
okay?
Can you just do this for me, please?
Yeah, I mean we're hanging out here, man. Right?
Well, I don't want to be recorded.
Recorded like how?
Well, you're recording right now.
I am. Yep, I am.
Okay, well, we're right here, and we don't.
I'm
wanna
good
be
talking,
recorded.
so we good.
Okay, yeah. Well, did you know that the Earth is flat and not a ball like we're taught? That you're lied to ever since you were a child? And I don't like to be lied to, man, so I'm going to let people know that we're being lied to. So. And now he knows. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, did you know that your phone records you everywhere you go also? Okay, that's just... You don't care that the CIA watches everything that you do, but you bother me? All right. Doesn't make any sense to me, but... All right, so we're going to keep walking, see if we can grab some more interactions with people. See what else is up. Thanks everybody for hanging out and stopping by. Yeah, Tommy, what's up? How you doing, man? How's it going? Did you know that the Earth is flat and not a ball, sir? He does now. The Earth is flat, and if this is new to you, the idea of the Earth being flat... Oh, we gotta videotape this guy. See if he can handle being on camera. What's up, man?
What are you selling?
What am I selling? I'm selling truth. Are you prepared for truth?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, what do you think about this statement? The Earth is flat and not a ball, like we were taught. What do you think about that?
What do you mean? I have no idea what you're talking about.
I mean, the Earth is a flat, motionless plane where the sun and the moon revolve around us. Water doesn't curve and gravity is not real.
I don't agree with that.
Oh, that's fine. And what could you provide me with some information that could prove to me that I'm wrong?
I don't have...
Or just kind of sway my idea, maybe?
No, I probably wouldn't like try to direct your perception, but I would just say you'd probably look it up.
Okay.
It's just, like,
Do you think I went to school?
It's common science.
Do you think I went to public school?
No.
You don't?
Not.
Okay, you don't think I went to school at all my whole life?
No,
Okay.
you might have. I don't know.
Okay, I did. I graduated in public school here in Minnesota.
Okay.
Okay, so, and I grew up believing that we do live on a ball. And some recent information has come to light that we don't.
Are you talking about monetarily or economically? Like, what are we talking about?
Okay, you gotta repeat Sir, have you been drinking today?
I have been, but
Okay, that's all right. Do you have
I understand.
you don't want to get a DWI while you're biking and
I
drinking.
understand the idea of being flat. What are you talking about?
What is the Earth being flat economically? What does that even mean? I've never heard of that terminology before. Yeah, right?
Am I being interviewed right now?
Oh, 100%. I'm actually live on YouTube right now, man.
Are you?
I am. Yeah.
You want to get in on this?
Yeah.
You should maybe.
So, just real quick, if you just explain, what does it mean for the Earth to be flat financially? I don't understand.
That, well, I think it's the idea that if you're in a spectrum where you have the ability to
let me do you a favor, all right? Just doesn't seem like we're going to be able to produce any fruit here. No offense, you've just been drinking. It's not a problem, but I do have a YouTube channel.
I don't need that.
Okay, you don't use your phone to use YouTube or anything like that?
I'd like to answer you.
Yeah, okay. Let me just end it with this guy. I appreciate you stopping by, man, but the Earth is in fact flat and not a ball like we're taught, and outer space is 100% fake.
What are you talking about?
A flat plane like a pizza. Like water doesn't curve over the ocean type of deal. Like it's not a ball. It's a flat, motionless plane.
Okay.
Okay. So I'll just leave you with that, all right? Have a good afternoon. Oh, dogs.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll leave them out of the shot.
So are you a YouTuber? Or are you
I am a YouTuber, yeah.
I am too.
Awesome. What kind of content do you produce?
I'm a shaman.
Okay.
And I produce reversing disease and busting through fantasy and flat Earth.
Oh, you do flat Earth.
Well, I haven't done it yet.
Okay.
But I support it.
Awesome. Let me just real quick before I got a YouTube channel.
Okay.
If you don't mind, you want to say your YouTube channel for everybody, or?
It's naturallywithkaren.com.
Naturallywithkaren.com.
Uh-huh.
Okay, check her out. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. And then so I got this guy here for you. He does a pretty good demonstration on the seasons on a flat Earth.
Wonderful. I'd love to check it out.
Yeah. And then so what led you to the idea that the Earth is flat? Like, how did you get to even that idea? How did that cross your mind?
Well, I saw other people presenting about it, and the idea really flowed for me in terms of my consciousness level. I remember being a young child, and I was born and graduated into becoming, now in my mid-50s, a shaman. And I remember thinking to myself, we are really truly an adult. Okay?
I almost agree with that. I do tease with that a little bit. I've never been up high enough to know if there's a dome or not, but I do know that there's been some experiments like Operation Fishbowl and whatnot in the past. And to even call it like an enclosure where there's a wall holding all the water in, I've never been there, but it is provocative thought.
It is,
yeah.
And The Big Blue was one of the provocative motivators for me too. The movie The Big Blue.
The movie The Big Blue. Okay, great.
Where you see actually the parallel multiverse. You see the ability that water, which is our emotions.
Yep.
And so with the healing work that I do, I was able to take that in and out on a macro and microcosm. Mm-hmm. And I was able to see that in fact there are many different layers of the planes. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Like a parallax of some kind in a way. Okay.
Similar, yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Sure. And then so with all that being said, how has this helped you? Because a lot of people say to me when I present the idea of flat Earth, well, what's the big deal? What's it matter? What has it done for you recently?
It changes my entire paradigm. It changes how I live, how present I am, how authentic I am. It changes the medicine that I bring. I bring a lot more psychosomatics instead of placebo. And I think that that's true because of the amount of farming. You see, because I see this particular plane as a plantation.
Yeah. Well, we are the
absolutely
the best workers for that plantation, right?
We are.
Yeah. And the establishment loves that.
Blood, plasma, energy, and people produce energy. People fund this motherboard.
Yeah.
Mother has been completely removed. Patriarchy, hierarchy, caste, white supremacy. I look to all of that to understand and overstand what's really happening here. So I can help people to heal because most of their issues are psychosomatic. And if they start to understand or understand that we actually live on a plane,
yeah,
yeah, and that we are vehicles inside of a vehicle, as I describe it, inside of a vehicle, inside of a vehicle. Okay.
Yeah.
And that the physical eyes really are very misleading.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
so
they can be.
There's a constant saturation of programming from 0 to 3, which fills the unconscious mind. If you read Alfred Adler and if you read Sigmund Freud, as much as a lot of you females don't want to read Sigmund Freud because of his machismo, everybody has their nuggets. So
yeah.
Many of those those that I read talked extensively about the covering up and the removing, and now what we have is an entire farming system on a plantation. So it changes everything about my reality, about how I live.
Just bear with me here for a second.
No problem.
One of the things for me that I have found that helps me personally, and I try to share this with as many people as I can if I get to that point of this conversation, is distilled water. It has completely revolutionized how I feel, how my thoughts are, because if you do a study about thoughts in water, it's a very fascinating concept, and I do follow along with that idea that the better.
We're on the same wave.
Yeah, and so I believe that whenever you change your diet and you realize you are what you eat, and you start with the basics of what you put in as a liquid, since we're over 70 to 80% water.
Absolutely.
Distilled water is the 100% best form of medium to put in a human body.
And I want to really make a sharp point on that, which is for 32 years, I began in 1985 studying raw food and fruitarian and clean water as a source of reversing disease.
Okay.
And I reversed when I was diagnosed because of a stress-based colitis incident. I don't usually doctor at all, Western allopathic doctor, neither did my mother or my grandmother.
Okay.
And I'm from Santa Cruz, California, but I moved up north to Minnesota 14 years ago. I have a business as a shaman.
Yeah.
And exclusively how I reverse disease. Exclusively. Those are my pack. Exclusively
little altercation
how I
here.
reverse disease is 32 years of juicing.
Yeah.
You know, juicing, I juice ginger. Guys, can you please not go up to him right now?
Right, then you got to worry about them, and it's just, it's not something you want to worry about. But yeah, so, I juice too, as often as I can, and I just encourage people to look at the diet of a human being in America and look at a diet of Southeast Asia, for example. I spent some time in the Southeast Asian area, and it was quite rewarding. I love the food there. And are you familiar with Dr. Sebi?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, I have been teaching my clients about Dr. Sebi's diet for the last many years, the electric diet.
Yeah.
Yes, I have the African Biomineral Balance.
Okay.
I have Dr. Sebi's Bromide Plus at home, and I also use Alaria Kombu. You got him? Yeah. Okay. Alaria, kombu, digitata, and all of the different seaweeds in addition to just also using the Irish moss and the bladderwrack.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's been a 32-year journey for me. I'm a certified herbalist, and I actually am an extremely medically intuitive. And the reason for that, and the reason for my intelligence and the thinness of my body at 56 is my plant-based diet.
Great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So people reverse diseases because they are degenerating themselves.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. And with Monsanto's, the GMOs, chemtrails, I mean, it just goes on and on and on. It's just really sad that people not only are unaware, but when you inform them, they refuse to change.
I'm literally starving up in Cloquet, so I am actually making my virtual presence as a lifelong shaman. This is not a plug, but I live up in Cloquet right now where I raised my son.
Okay.
And the ignorance and the resistance, the stoicism and the rigidity is really all part and parcel to starch stiffness, which is what Dr. Sebi, with all due respect, advocated for, was to come off of all the starch, to allow the blood to function as it's designed to function, allow the bones as our crystals to function properly, and for us to have the sacred water which flowed over the rocks and collected all the minerals. And we're so removed from that.
Yeah.
And in fact, I've gone so far as to study why the Hittites, who were in the Bible in the Old Testament, later became the Nazis, and later became very, very powerful and actually are the ones funding all of the artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
And I've done a great deal of study about that.
Yeah,
that's all I do every single day up there when I don't have like minds.
Sure.
I have this young man who's 19 who I've just brought under my wing 2.5 months ago to learn about how to really treat animals as companions and not dog owners.
Yeah.
How to dress, how to not shave our underarms, how to drink clean water.
Mm-hmm.
You know, know, and I
Great.
wish that more people would open to that, because what it does is it makes calcifications in their mind.
In the pineal gland.
They are no longer methylating, so they can no longer function with their DMT. I don't need drugs or substances. I've done psilocybin.
Right.
I knew
Yeah.
Terrence McKenna. I was personally friends with Dr. Shulgin.
Mhm.
I did a double dose of MDMA to defrag my mind
Yeah.
before I had my son and consciously cleaned my womb. And I would like to teach the world, and I would like to see more people, young people like yourself,
Mhm.
that are interested in raising the bar on their consciousness and self-actualization.
Good luck. When you got fidget spinners and pornography and false flag crap, psyops going on, people saying that they're dying at Sandy Hook and they really don't. It's just.
And they don't. You're right.
It's unbelievable, like what's going on. But I mean.
And I knew the Black Panthers. I used to shop at the Black Muslim Bakery in Oakland, California. I'm from the Bay Area, right?
Okay.
None of those people were trying to do anything wrong.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't there, so yeah. But yeah, with just even little things like fluoride, you know, to calcify the pineal gland and everything to really keep us docile and say that once I get rebooted here.
Just finished it 2 days ago.
Okay, what was that again?
I have a book that I just finished 2 days ago. I've been working on it for many years, and I've been actively working on it for the last 2. And it's called Detox and Heal Your Thyroid. Because if you don't have your hypothalamus, which is actually also one of the many glands that you have, your pituitary and your pineal gland, and they're not functioning optimally, and then you're eating congesting wheat and GMO foods, of course you're going to clog the follicles in your thyroid gland. And the mind-body for that is humiliation.
Yeah.
We're all humiliated. You know why? Because all of us are being held hostage on a plantation by the neck.
Interesting.
So the epidemic today of thyroid disorders, I discuss in my book, which just came out 2 days ago on a pre-order on Naturally with Karen. And I talk about how you can detox it, not only detoxing your mind, psychosomatic, mind-body, but also through your food system. You don't have to do the drugs and the surgeries. I have walked out, I've been called crazy, I'm 56 years old.
Yeah.
Repeatedly in my life.
Yep.
And each time I have never used sunscreen. I have not owned a television since 1985. I have never been married. I'm not going to ever. Okay? I made my own decisions as a sovereign. And you know what? I'm also not a subjective, submissive, woman either. I'm not a feminist. I love all people.
Great.
And I move in partnership ways according to Rianne Eisler, not dominator ways.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're being farmed.
I totally agree. And it was really a pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you too.
Karen?
Karen.
And then your website again?
Naturallywithkaren.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Have a good rest of your evening.
Thank you.
Yep.
Wow, what a pleasure to meet you.
Yeah, you too, Karen. Good to meet like-minded people who know, who understand that this reality is a deception and a flippin' lie, and I'm so tired of it. All right, thanks everybody for stopping by, hanging out. Thanks for your compliments and your contributions in chat. Yeah, she was a nice lady. Hope things do well for her, Karen. So we're going to continue with our, with our signage here. I know that there's a lot going on the YouTube live Flat Earth community right now, so I appreciate everybody stopping by and checking out for a couple minutes. It's quite the potpourri of people in the Flat Earth community, huh? Still a beautiful day.
Yes, no, hear me out. I was in Diggy Town. I was in Diggy Town before.
All right. Yeah, so I had to earlier listen to FEA's point of view. So I heard what he had to say. Yeah, Thanks, Hope. Yeah, I'm just trying to catch a groove, you know, just find my spot. I don't know what to ever expect when I'm coming out here. It is, every day it's intimidating because I don't know what types of people I'm going to come across. I know there's a lot of people that want to try to put me in a box and try to ask me a question that's going to stump me, and then they can pridefully walk away. But I don't know everything. I don't try to act like I do either. But I do have confidence in my voice and my words. That's really all I can give to the table. And I'm just trying to do basic stuff here. I'm not trying to do any advanced conversations like solar eclipses and all that other jazz. We're just letting people know that the Earth is flat and not a ball. Water doesn't curve and gravity is fake. And everything they give us in outer space is all CGI and drawings. It's not even real, but people believe it. And that's your choice if you want to. You can believe that if you want. But I will tell you in kindness, that you're being lied to and that it's fake. So, not really coming across anybody. Where's everybody going? Where's everybody at? Probably should go back to the beach area. There's probably more people over there. Still got about an hour and a half or so of daylight. I don't know if I'm going to shut it down tonight, but don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hit that like button. Try to get this and all other Flat Earth videos likes so that they move up the ladder on YouTube. That's how the algorithm works nowadays. You got to get likes on those videos, people. Just hang out here for a second. How you guys doing? I'm doing terrific, thanks. Did you know that everything NASA gives us is a drawing and or CGI of outer space? All right. Did you know also that the Earth is flat and not a ball like we're taught? As a heart attack. Yep. What do you think about that statement? You're surprised? We got fidget spinners, man. Those things keep kids in a trance for hours. That shouldn't surprise you, right?
No, that doesn't surprise me at all.
No.
Kids are very easily influenced.
Right. And so, do you believe in outer space and all that stuff? Like we can travel to Mars and the moon and stuff? Is that something that you fall in?
You believe in facts, yeah.
Okay. So you believe that we've went to the moon?
Did you know in order to pull off the moon prank, it'd take over 400,000 people to keep a secret?
Okay.
Aaron turned it off.
I didn't turn it off.
Where's your phone?
You have it.
I don't have it. Oh, there it is. Okay.
Are you familiar with
Are you filming me?
Yeah, 100%, man. I'm live on YouTube.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
All right.
I do this regularly. I got like over 50 hours of content.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I guess
So
I have sunglasses on.
I'm just going around enlightening people that we live on a flat, motionless plane and not a spinning ball like we're taught.
Have you ever researched this? Like looked into it at all?
The research what?
How the Earth is round, how it rotates
Round,
and goes to the Earth.
round like a pizza or a ball?
A ball.
Okay,
Dude.
could you say ball then, like round? Because I don't understand why people say round. Because a round is a dinner plate, right?
No, it's a circle. Round is round.
It's a spherical.
Okay, yeah, there you go. Yeah, sphere. There you go. Yeah. So do you? Can I give you some?
Man, I'm on like an internet show. Something.
You are.
Yeah.
Can I give you some information that you might not know? I did graduate from high school, okay, and I believed in the ball idea until 18 months ago.
Well, did you go to college at all?
Do I have?
Extend your education?
Do I have my indoctrination? You mean?
No, your education.
No, you gotta understand, man, that
Yeah,
you
dude,
go to.
society sucks, and you have to conform to a certain set of
I don't have to
rules, but there
conform
are
to anything, man.
facts.
I don't have to conform
You don't have to
to
but
anything.
People choose to do so just so they can live their life comfortably and just go and do what they want to do.
Sure, and I am doing what I want to do, and I'm enlightening.
That's fine, man. That's
I'm letting people know that we've been lied to ever since we were 4 years old,
okay.
and we have been. And that's just, I guess that's my opinion right now.
I guess my opinion is I don't doubt you in saying that the government and people have lied to us our whole lives, but there are certain things.
But
that are
this is true. This is true, though, right? The ball space theory?
Satellites don't exist.
Yeah, what do you think about that? Satellites not existing.
No, satellites have literally fallen from the sky and people have found them, correct?
You have found them?
They have seen. Why? No, I haven't.
Okay, so you're taking somebody else's word for it then, right?
That wording is very entrapping.
Well, it's not entrapment, but you are, though, right?
It's entrapping. That's wording, dude. Like,
No, it's you're putting your faith in somebody else's testimony, right?
Well, what's your faith then, dude?
My faith is that the establishment has been lying to us about where we live. I believe that Jesus Christ, I believe that Jesus Christ is God.
Oh, man.
Yep.
Okay.
Hey, you asked, man.
And you know what? I was raised Catholic, dude. Like, I get it.
Okay, I get why you don't. I get why you hate God.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I did not say I hate God.
Okay.
I disagree with the hypocriticism within the Catholic Church. That's what I disagree with. What's to say that I don't deserve heaven as much as somebody else who has never learned about Jesus?
Do you personally believe that Jesus Christ is God?
Is God?
Yes.
No. Do I believe he's a great man and taught
Okay,
the world
then
great
that would-
morals and how to live their life? Yeah.
Then that would determine whether or not you go to heaven or hell. Is whether you believe that Jesus Christ is God, believe that what he did on earth is true or not.
I just disagree with how man is taking control of God's word. And
I do
forming
disagree with
what
that.
they want.
Yep, but to say that you don't hate God, but you don't believe Jesus Christ is God.
How you're saying the world is flat and how that has something to do with God. Like the earth is round, yeah, because that's what God created and that's what he wanted it.
Okay.
He created a world in which he wanted it. So we found out what that world was, and now people are saying it's not that because
It's always said in the Bible that is some flat, motionless plane that's immovable.
All right, what's the text from the Bible?
Do you feel yourself moving?
What's the text from the Bible?
It's
that
all in
says
Psalms.
The earth is flat.
It's all in Psalms, man.
Show it to me right now.
I want you to look for it, man. I don't want to
Dude,
give you the
hey,
answers.
if you're gonna prove your point,
No, it's my opinion, man. I don't have
that's
to.
how I learn. That's how I learn.
That's great, man.
Has an idea.
Sure.
I want to hear it.
Okay, I can give you my YouTube channel.
No, show it to me right now.
Okay, you don't want to my YouTube channel. I can't use my phone, man.
Give me your YouTube channel, but
Yeah.
search it for me. Let me know. What is it?
That's
What
not
does
my.
it say?
That's
What's
not why I'm
verse?
here,
What's
man.
the chapter?
Here you go, man.
I'm not trying to be mean to you. I'm just.
I know, but well, it doesn't sound like you're trying to have a conversation because you're trying to put me in a spot where I want you to desire to look up for it on your own time, man.
But
Because
yet
if I
you're
give
preaching
you,
to people and you're not
you can call it what you want. I'm giving my opinion. If
Preaching's the wrong word, I guess.
if you call if in a way of what I said to the person before I was talking to rubbed you the wrong way enough for you to openly say something.
People, how many times have people just walked past you when they wouldn't stop to talk to you? That's what I'm asking.
A lot of people want to talk to
I
me.
How many people don't though?
There's a lot of people that just would rather do what they're doing, but I do, as they walk by, let them know that the earth is indeed flat and not a ball. So that provokes thought and plants a seed.
I'm actually impressed on how you try to open your mind and new. Like, you're right. We can't just listen to everything we're told, but everybody has their own beliefs. You gotta let them live their own lives and believe those own beliefs.
I don't like
how
to be lied to, though.
I get how you want people to know that there's no truth in what they've been told, but imagine going up to somebody who has lived one way their whole life and you just randomly come up and say you're wrong.
And I give them
They're
the truth.
immediately gonna be offended.
That's
like,
great.
That's just the human nature to be like, no, this is my world.
But what you're saying isn't going to change what I do because that's just part of what I do, man. That's what happens. That's the result sometimes. Some people are more open to hear than others, but they're still hearing the truth.
What is your? I guess my question: what's your proof that the Earth is flat?
Water doesn't curve, man.
Once you get up in a helicopter or an airplane, you can literally see the Earth curve.
You feel like you're going over a waterfall?
It's not a waterfall, man.
I'm saying, like, you get the sense that you're going over an edge, though, and you don't.
It's not an edge, it's a gradual curve. You realize how big the Earth is, right?
How big is the Earth?
At over 200,000 miles in circumference.
Not even close, man.
What is it then?
In circumference, it's about 24,000 miles. In diameter, it's about 8,000.
I didn't study.
And the radius is about 4.
4?
4,000, yeah. Do you know how far the human race has drilled into the ground?
line that goes at least 1,000 feet deep. I know for a fact.
9 miles by the Russians.
Russians.
Yeah, about 9 miles. And so if you and I were to go from the state of Maine to California, that's about 3,000 miles. If we drove 9 miles from Maine towards California, do you think we would have a good idea of what California looks like? Or would we have to travel further, do you think?
9 miles.
Yeah.
So you're saying to go through the Earth it takes 9 miles?
No, I'm saying that from where we're standing right here, the furthest that they have drilled is 9 miles.
Okay.
So how do they know the core of the Earth?
What's your purpose?
My purpose is, how do they know that we have a core?
So you just want people to question their realities.
Of course I do, yes.
Alright, fine. People should question their reality, but I mean, you just can't. I hate that being filmed. You can't sit here and argue with somebody until they believe in you. It's like, just like how if a cop sits there and questions you for hours and hours on end, they're finally getting grief because they want to get out of the situation.
I've ended conversations because I see no fruit in them. You know, especially with people that, you know, today's a nice day, so they want to drink. So I mean, you know, so it gets to a point where we will just banter back and forth. But I am here to provoke your thought.
What's going on right now?
Yeah, I am letting you.
No, my thoughts provoked in how fucking the government lies to us nonstop. I
Okay.
get that. That's fine.
Okay. And so, can I bring you?
Scientific fact brought into it, like how there's an environmental problem going on right now. That's
What
fine.
environmental problem would you say is going on right now?
Global warming.
Cow farts. Cow farts, man. Come on.
Cow farts. Actually, cows are a huge part of it. The overpopulation of livestock are a huge part of it. They're destroying.
They are not destroying anything, man. You're a Christian. You're a Christian.
I'm not.
Okay.
Not anymore.
Not anymore because of why, dude? So you hate God.
I don't hate God.
Jesus Christ is God, so you hate him.
No, I never said I hate him. I said I
Okay,
don't
well,
believe
it's either you're
in
for
the
him or
God that's
against
down
him.
my throat.
But you're for him or you're against him. But I'm saying
For him or against
you're yeah. He says that. I mean, it's either A or B. That's just how this reality was made, man.
Yeah, that's the reality that the people, the men who
Yeah.
created the books.
I totally know.
We're gonna do this so we can keep people in
Not
line.
at all, man.
Religion is a structure. To
Not
keep
at all.
people following the rules.
Jesus Christ is not religion, man. That's the thing. It's a relationship with your Creator, man. You can have a relationship with God without going to church. Just read the Bible. He tells you His truth right in there.
I've been entertaining.
Entertain it more, please.
No, I don't
yeah.
want to.
I don't go to a church right now either, man, because it's very difficult for me to have my point of view with particularly the flat earth. When churches make money for their heliocentric idea and they can't convert people to a flat earth idea because they won't get any more money because everybody will leave.
I can't. Are you serious? Like, is this it's like a huge like YouTube prank kind of a thing?
No, this is a massive community of flat earthers.
I can't. Oh. So
And you brought up the point of faith, and I can talk about faith, but I'm here to tell you that the earth is flat.
Walked up, faith had something to do with it.
It has nothing to do with it,
Religious
man.
belief
It has
had
nothing to
something
do with it.
Okay, so what's?
Because my salvation is in Christ, not the flat earth. If I die right now and I believe in
So
Christ
why
and
do
not
you
the flat
believe
earth, it
the
doesn't
earth is
matter.
flat? Because somebody told you.
But doesn't Jesus say to love everyone, no matter what?
I didn't say I hated anybody. But I didn't say I hated anybody.
There needs to be.
Because people use hating other people and saying they're Catholic. They're Catholic as an excuse. Like, oh, I'm Catholic, but I can hate this person.
You've never.
I can just go to a person and say.
You've never spoken to me. You've never hung out with me. You don't know my character and who I am.
I'm not.
But you don't know how I carry my business as a Christian either. And if you want to throw me in this.
That he's not. You have to respect that he has other beliefs, and then you just go on with your day. That's what I think.
Sure, and I agree with that. Yeah, and I agree with that. But I don't know where. But he brought up the whole point of faith in the first place. And my point was about the moon landing. You said that there would be 400,000 people involved, right? Are you familiar with what happened in Enron? Do you remember what happened with Enron?
You're talking about the financial,
yeah,
like, stock market
smartest guys in the room type of deal. Yeah.
Too big to fail type shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so in the Enron building, for example, is this your beautiful wife here?
No, she's my girlfriend.
Girlfriend, okay. So your girlfriend is on the first floor, information desk, 40-hour-a-week job. Do you think that she would know what they're doing on the top floor of the Enron building?
That depends on what her job.
I mean, let's try to be realistic here. You know,
Depends on what her dude. I work in a corporate building. It's a job. Some people know, some people don't.
Okay.
Like I work directly with executives in my company, but the person who sits right next to me doesn't even ever have a meeting with them.
Okay, and because
So it's
most
strictly
people,
related to what your job title is.
most people are on a need-to-know basis, right? I mean, could we kind of agree with that?
Not in the company I work
Okay. Well, in companies like Enron,
that's no longer even a thing.
okay. Well, if you believe
Because
that,
they embezzled millions of dollars from people.
if you believe that companies like that don't exist right now, then you're
Of course
deceived.
they exist. How does this tie in?
It ties in because not everybody that works at NASA is in on the quote prank or joke. They're on a need-to-know basis, and a lot of these people sign non-disclosure agreements. So they're not allowed to talk about anything because most likely they could be either A, blackmailed or financially destroyed or put threats on their family. Have you ever seen the 3 people that landed on the moon? Have you seen that interview after they got back? They look terrified, man. Because they were lying.
Could you imagine coming in?
Buzz Aldrin is a liar, man.
Dude.
He's not a
Buzz Aldrin's
hero.
an American hero.
He is not a hero.
Well, yeah,
He is a
well,
liar.
because he's
Other
dead.
people's opinions are like.
I did listen to his opinion.
Okay, so
This is my opinion.
Like those military, our members of our military who die for us. They're not saying that.
We're not talking about those people. We're talking about astronauts who claim to go to outer space. Those people are
This
liars.
conversation.
We totally can. Yeah. What's your name?
Hayden.
Hayden. I'm Joshua. Pleasure to meet you too. Yep. Have a good afternoon. You guys have a good night. Please investigate flat Earth. All right. See ya. He'll have to watch. It's his journey. He's got to go on his journey, his walk. And people want to believe that those people who went to outer space are heroes. Yeah, you can believe that. They're liars to me. Scam artists, con men, sellouts to the human race. How's it going, man?
What's up?
Nada. What do you think about my sign here? Is this a provocative statement, do you think?
What does it say?
Satellites don't exist.
Well, they do exist.
Okay, they do. What evidence could you provide me that they do? Because I'm being very serious here.
Well, the fact that you can see them in the sky at night.
See what? What do you
Satellites. You see them moving.
What do you
They're
see,
moving
though?
faster.
I know, but what do you actually see, though? Could you just describe? I don't want to put words in your mouth. What do you see?
It just looks like a star
Okay, that moves.
that moves.
Okay, so it may or may not be a drone or a balloon of some that may or may not have communication purposes to it.
Look at that fancy vehicle over there. Right there.
Yeah, I've seen that before.
What is that?
Something that I couldn't afford. Right?
So,
Somebody who has a
where were
really
we
good
at?
hobby.
Where were we at?
Satellites being fake. And you see
Fake?
and you see lights in the sky.
Yep.
So how does that mean that that's a satellite if you don't actually see it? If you just see a light in the sky?
What if you've actually seen it?
I'm
What is the problem with satellites?
Well, when you Google image satellites in space, this is what you get. Does this look like a picture of a real satellite in space? It is. Actually, Google it, and I'll buy you guys dinner if you find a real satellite right now. You're right. This isn't. This is one of hundreds of pictures, and they're all CGI. This is just the best one I found.
And you put it on
And I put it on a little poster board.
poster board?
Yeah. To provoke thought about everything that NASA gives us in regards to outer space is all CGI and paintings.
Well, what was your purpose with this?
My purpose
Yeah, your
is to let you know that the Earth is flat and not a ball like we were taught. And NASA gives us all CGI images. Has it ever even crossed your mind that the Earth is a flat, motionless plane and not a spherical ball?
Not at all.
No?
Nope.
Did you go to school, college, and all that?
No?
No? Did you graduate high school?
I graduated high school.
Okay,
yeah.
right on. Cool. Yeah, so me and you are in the same boat. It's just that 18 months ago or so, I came across some provocative information that I investigated in my own time.
How provocative.
Well, I can show you. No, that's fine. I actually have a YouTube channel, and I have some information on other YouTube channels and websites that you can check out.
I will look at this.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
But, yeah, as far as the Earth being flat, no, I don't agree with that.
And
I've
would
been at altitudes that are high enough to see that it's round.
Okay, but it's not round, man. Water doesn't curve, and gravity's not real. Can I just encourage you here? This is actually the This is actually the top piece right there. That's the video that I saw.
This one?
That's my YouTube channel, Authentic Intent. But yeah, if you just take these, this would really give you a pretty deep rabbit hole for you to go down. Thank you very much.
I've been down rabbit holes.
All right, well, you're never going to get out of this one, man.
Well, thank you for
Yeah.
enlightening us.
No, you're welcome. What's your name?
Valerie, yours?
Valerie Joshua.
Hi, Joshua.
And yours?
I'm Moses.
Hey, well, whatever you want to tell me, that's fine, man. I'm Joshua. Have a good afternoon. Enjoy your journey. Thanks.
Benjamin Franklin.
All right. We're back, hanging out. How you folks doing today? Good, good. Did you know that the Earth is flat and not a ball like we were taught in school? Please research it. All right. How you doing, ladies? Hi. Hey. Have you ever thought of the idea of the Earth being flat? No. Really. Okay. What if it really was, and we were lied to as children? All right. Cooking with gasoline over here, folks. Thanks, everybody, for stopping by. Yeah, Dan. Hey, Dan. How's it going, guys? My Korean surprise was the country near Korea, Japan. And I did a Hello Kitty thing earlier today for about 30 minutes. There wasn't really a lot going on, but I was able to interact with the ladies that ran the Hello Kitty cafe van. I took some pictures of the menu. It was way too expensive. And there wasn't really a whole lot of people walking around there. So I just stayed there for momentarily and then I left. But yeah, I wanted to go there and see if there would be any fruit out of that, but it didn't seem like it. So then I left. But that's really all I got. All right. Just trying to be nice, trying to smile, let people know what's up. Trying to keep people happy today. Are you guys happy? You guys excited to be here? Are you not entertained? I really appreciate everybody, all my mods, everybody just watching, taking time, whether you're live or...
The Earth is not flat.
I'm sorry, what?
The Earth isn't flat.
It is though, man.
No, it's not.
You give me 90 seconds and I can give you some pretty damaging evidence that it is. Yeah, I just need 90. I can kind of show you that it is indeed flat. The Earth is as flat as a pancake. Yeah.
Okay, that's real.
Yeah.
That's real.
Yeah, it's real talk. Yep.
The Earth is
Flat as a pancake.
Flat as a
How
pancake.
can we grow up if the Earth is flat?
How can you grow up? Well, if you get your proper nutrients, you drink your milk, take your vitamins.
Where do you think those
That's how you.
You brought this to you.
That's how you grow. So, gravity's not real, man. It's just. Yeah. Yeah. That doesn't prove anything. That just means that you're pretty good at basketball.
What?
Yeah.
I'm not good at basketball.
Okay.
What?
I went to Buffalo. Minnesota, yeah. Buffalo, Minnesota. Yep.
Damn. That's crazy.
Why the Earth isn't flat? Or it is? Because you were jumping, man. I thought you got hops, you know, so.
Bro,
No? Okay. But gravity is just a name that they got to give the object that is denser than the air around it. So this is going to fall to the ground.
Hey, have a good day.
Yeah.
Real shit.
Okay, yeah, sure. I got a YouTube channel.
I asked for your website.
You don't want to enlighten your mind, open up, man? Okay, man.
Can you get me on the camera real quick?
Yeah.
Hey, this nigga crazy, man. Don't listen to none of that.
Okay. Well, they actually do know that the Earth is flat, and you guys have a good afternoon.
Motherfucker that knows some crazy.
No, I'm YouTube. I'm live on YouTube.
With the audacity to still keep talking.
Yep.
Like, go, please.
Yep. Well, you mentioned it, and I figured I'd come over and interact with you since you wanted to walk away and tell me that the Earth is not flat.
The Earth.
So.
The Earth is round as hell.
Okay, how is the Earth flat? Tell me some facts.
Yeah, I can. If you're open-minded, I can totally. Okay, sure. I can respect that. Can you hold this for a second? Okay. So you know how they tell us that Antarctica is its own separate continent on the bottom of the globe, right? Well, it's actually may or may not be the ring holding all the water in. That's why water doesn't fall off the edge, and you won't fall off the edge or anything like that, okay?
This guy's breaking down
There's
some science.
ozone, like there is.
Okay, well, I'm just giving you information right now so that then you can take it for what it's worth, okay? You have to forget everything that you were taught in school, okay? And so here's how the seasons work on a flat plane. Okay, in the center you have the North Pole, and so the sun moves around the Earth on the flat plane like this. We don't revolve around the sun. So it just goes like that, and as it becomes winter out, it just spins around like that. Okay?
So what about all science, all those facts?
All those who?
Why are they lying to us?
Because they want to deceive your mind and make you believe that the Earth is a ball and outer space is real, and it's not. Everything
what about
that
people going out to outer space though?
they're lying to you. They are deceiving your mind and making you believe something that's not true. I'm just trying to let you know. You know, you seem like a really bright girl, okay? And so I just have you watch my YouTube channel. Check it out. There are some links in the description. Okay? Don't allow peer pressure to keep you from the truth, okay? I'm being honest with you here.
Don't allow.
So have a good afternoon, guys. See you around. Do not allow peer pressure to keep you from knowing the truth. And if you do, if you think that you need to have friends and those are more important than knowing what the truth about where you live and your reality, if that's more important to you, may God have mercy on your soul. All right, so we're gonna go back to the beach here. Let's see who we can draw into our little bubble. Trying to get this back in my back. Hang on a second, guys. All right, we're ready. Those adjustments are put in order. And now we can continue. All right. How you doing? Satellites don't exist. They are not real. Yeah.
Satellites?
Satellites, yeah.
So the satellites you see, like, they are not real, like what? Like how?
Where have you seen a satellite?
In space.
You've seen it on TV. Yeah. Okay, so when you're watching a Disney movie, is that real too? No, it's not.
Totally the same thing.
CGI is not real. So when you Google satellites in space, all you get are cartoon paintings. Okay? And so when you Google Earth from space, this is all you get are pictures painted on a computer. This is not real. Okay? What size is America? If you were to look at this, could you tell me the left or the right picture? Which one is real? The left one? Okay. That's also a painting, ma'am. It's not real. They're lying to us. And they've been lying to us about where we live since we were born.
So where do we live now?
Well, we may or may not live on this, could you just hold that for a second? On that flat plain. And so that's Antarctica. And it is the ring that holds all the water in. Okay? So when somebody says, oh, you can't believe in the flat earth because you'll fall off the edge, we're taught to make fun of people like me at a very young age because they knew that this idea was going to happen.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
So are you trying to say there is no earth or there is no God?
No, there is very much a God. Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to say that we're being lied to by the establishment about where we live in outer space.
Man, this the guy's
Yeah. Hey, that's fine, man. I'm YouTube on live right now.
Are you YouTube on live?
Yeah.
Oh, so what's your name?
Joshua.
Joshua who?
Yeah. Well, I don't want to give out my last name, but I can give you my YouTube channel.
Okay,
so you can check it out.
Excuse me, Joshua.
Yeah.
So who is lying to us?
Well, the God of this world is lying to us.
The God of this world?
Yes.
Who is God of this world?
Satan. Lucifer.
Satan's the god of this world?
Yeah.
This guy's in
So what church
your
do you go
opinion?
I don't go to church right now. Yeah. It's difficult for me to find a place that I feel comfortable going to, believing that the earth is flat and not a ball. And so if a congregation or a church were to believe in such an idea, they would lose a lot of followers.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
My church believes in that, so we don't lose a lot of followers because we have a lot of members.
You believe that the earth is flat and not a ball?
Yeah, I believe the earth is a ball, it's not flat.
Okay, well, I believe the earth is flat and not a ball.
I don't believe it's flat, I believe it's a ball.
Okay, and that's why I probably it wouldn't work out for me to go to your church. Yeah. So.
See you on YouTube?
Yeah, there I am.
But Joshua, you didn't ask my consent to put me on YouTube though. You know?
Oh, I don't have to actually.
But you can take your camera and go to the left.
Sure. Okay.
Take your camera to the left.
Yep. I know what I'm saying is hurting one of your feelings. So.
Joshua, go away. Joshua, leave me alone.
Did you guys have something to say?
No,
we can say Joshua.
So the earth is flat and not a ball.
It is?
Yeah. So just check it out, okay?
Joshua,
I do have
I've heard about it.
I do have a YouTube channel if you want to check it out.
I would love to.
Okay.
Amongst the other ones I have. Yeah. Let's go.
There you go. All right, man. Hope you have a good night. Stay safe, okay?
Leave me alone.
That's all right. Hey, thanks, man. Appreciate it. All right. So, got some more people here. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Terrific. The establishment is regulating. There is a lot of open bottle here, so I don't think that that's allowed. Glass is not allowed at the beach. So I think they're regulating on glass, underage drinking, and so on and so forth. I know, right? People are getting rowdy today. People are getting rowdy. Oof. I gotta get something to where I can put this in my back easier. All right. I'll just do this. How you doing?
Hi, pretty good. How are you?
I'm terrific, thanks. I hope there's not a black guy following me. Maybe he wants to know the truth. That's why he's following me. No, you know what? I probably should go walk to my car. Get some refreshments. I am nearby, so that car, I can see it from here. But there's people who want the truth, so it's difficult to go walk to my car while people want to know that the earth is flat and not a ball. We're taught, tired of getting lied to, and someday people will understand.
Talk about me before you get his ass knocked out.
People are getting rowdy today. Right? I got the establishment behind me anyway, so how you doing? They are regulating. All right, I'll go run to my car here real quick. Well, thanks everybody for hanging out, taking your time on this beautiful Saturday. Don't forget to check out other live Flat Earth streams going on right now. There's a lot of information, a lot of people out there with information I don't know about, so I listen to what they have to say. I don't agree with everything somebody says, but I will listen to them. Thanks for stopping by. Hope you are learning something. One thing I do hope that you're gaining out of this is just the confidence to speak to friends, family, coworkers, maybe some strangers. You don't have to know everything. That's the best part. You only have to know what we're taught in school. You know what I mean? Like there's... Ooh, that's cold. Cold water. You know, so you don't have to know everything. And just get comfortable talking to people. People love to dialogue about stuff like this. And, you know, I don't know. Still a beautiful day though. People having a good time, eating their food. Probably got about another 30 minutes or so of battery and light. Yeah, and you just got to keep talking to people. You know, you got to meet them at their level. You don't have to harass them about it. You know, all you got to do is just have little dialogues here and there. Plant a seed. And then continue the conversation the next day. You know, you don't have to go through everything all at once. You know, if you know that you're gonna talk to this person again the next day or 2 days from there, you know, just give them a little bit at a time. Don't overwhelm them, because people do feel overwhelmed, especially when you're destroying their reality of where they thought that they lived. I try to mute my phone when I can, so you don't guys hear my cough. But all right. So let's continue. Continue our trek. Round 2, right?
What up, Bob?
You already know what to.
Want to see it, bud? satellite. All right? Space isn't real, okay, bud? Okay. All right. How you doing, ladies? Good. I'm just walking around the park here for a while, kind of getting an idea of what people think about this statement. Yeah.
Pretty neutral.
Pretty neutral? Okay, how about yourself?
I don't know. I think they're real.
Think they're real, okay. What evidence could you provide me with that they are real and I can go home?
I don't know. I really don't know what satellites are, to be honest.
Okay. Excuse me. Well, they are used for like communication purposes, right? So like your DirecTV, satellite radio and whatnot. And so this is what they tell us a satellite in space looks like. What does that look like to you though? Does it look like a real picture?
This looks like artwork.
I know, but does it look like a picture you would take with your cell phone? No. It's not. It's a painting on a computer. And then they tell us that this is what a satellite looks like in space. So all satellites that they tell us are in space are all CGI. Okay, so does that make sense so far? Okay, and so if you were to Google Earth from space, do these look like real pictures? Kind of. Which one of these two pictures has the correct size of North America?
I don't know, but wasn't there like a old scientist who did something with the shadow of the Earth? He proved it was round. You know what I'm talking about? I don't know.
Yeah, maybe like Copernicus or something like that. Yeah, that's not true. He's lying to you. Yeah.
So Earth isn't round?
Round like a pizza or a ball. Yeah, it's not, actually.
What's your proof?
Okay, I can give you some evidence that could help open your mind a little bit. Okay, I know it's really hard because you have the idea of the ball in your head, right? Okay, and it took me a while to get to that point too.
Just turn that off.
I can turn it off you, but I am live on YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. If you want to hold that for a second, please. So, you know how they tell us the ball Earth has Antarctica on the bottom, right? Well, it may be the ring that holds all the water in. So we may or may not live in an enclosed system, like a snow globe of some kind, okay? And so this is Antarctica, and it may or may not be like a wall so that, you know, holds all the water in, right? And so, you know how they tell us when the Earth is tilted? That's how we get our seasons, right? And it revolves around the sun.
23.5 degrees.
Yeah, did you know what the remainder of that sum of is?
65 minus 23.5.
No, 100 minus that. 100 degrees, yeah. So it would be 66.6 degrees. So do you think that's kind of a weird number to have left over after the tilt of the Earth? What is 6? Okay. Do you have faith in God?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so do you have more faith in scientists than the Bible?
No, I have more faith in the Bible.
Okay. Did you know that the Bible over 40 times tells you that the Earth is not only immovable and motionless, but the sun and the moon create their own individual lights. So the moon does not reflect the sun's rays like we're taught. In Genesis 1, it actually says that he created the greater light for the day and the lesser light for the night. So science is always going to do the opposite of what the Bible says. So if you were to Google like creation versus evolution and then look at the pictures, like go on image, you'll see the difference and the opposites of how science nowadays creates evolution, the opposite of creation. So they're deliberately lying to you and hiding God from us. And so if you were to go and explore the idea of a flat Earth, which I really encourage you to do, I do have a YouTube channel, and I have some links in the description that could actually help you provide some information during your walk here on Earth. And that's really all I'm doing today, is just informing the public that the Earth is indeed flat.
Earth is flat?
Yes, sir. Yeah. What does that do for you? You disagree with that statement? You don't disagree? Okay, so you believe the Earth is flat and motionless and not a ball like we're taught?
That really don't matter what I believe.
Okay. Do you ever use YouTube or a computer or anything like that, sir? Okay. Could I just have you just check that out, check that guy out, and see if you agree or disagree with what that, and then maybe that'll help your walk, man. Okay. Have a good rest of your night. All right. G-Unit. Will the real flat earthers please stand up? Please stand up. Please stand up. Will the real flat earthers please stand up? Please stand up. Please stand up. Will the real flat earthers please stand up? Please stand up. Please stand up. How you doing, ladies?
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well, thanks.
What are you doing there?
I'm just yeah, sure. I'm walking around letting people know that the Earth is flat and not a ball, and satellites do not exist. They do not.
Okay, I give.
Here, you give?
How? Why? Why do you think that?
Okay, if you were to Google image satellites in space, this is what you get. Does this look like a picture that was taken with a camera? Yeah? Okay.
Yeah, I can see where it is.
But I guess if satellites are the things that are supposed to be taking the pictures, then what took that?
Yeah, what took the picture of this, right? You're very inquisitive. That's good. Because this is CGI and it was created on a computer. This is a drawing. It's fake.
Oh, wow.
And so if you do Google image satellites in space, guess what? All you get are these types of pictures.
That look like that.
That look like this. And even more frightening, in a way, is if you Google Earth from space, what do these look like to you? Okay, they look like they might be the Earth, right? From space?
Yeah, it looks like, but yeah, it doesn't necessarily indicate to me it's a sphere.
But if those are supposed to be fake, then what took that?
Well, nothing took this picture because this is also admitted by NASA to be a painting created on a computer or just an artist's rendering. All of your pictures that you get of outer space are CGI and fake. Outer space does not exist.
Outside of this globe is not a globe. We just established it wasn't a globe.
Yeah, right?
Outside of this planet, there is no outer space.
No, there's not. They're just unique lights in the sky. And since human beings have a tendency to have to just name things to call it something,
We needed to call it
we call it outer space. We call
planets that are out there.
we have to call them names. So we call them Mars, we call them Jupiter, we call them Saturn, but they're just unique lights in the sky. And the only time that you have an image of said planets, guess who they come from?
NASA's.
They come from NASA, and they're CGI. Yeah, so everything that we get in regards to outer space is fake.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm mind blown, actually.
I hope so, because it's a massive deception.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. This is a G-Unit done by 50 Cent. I'm going to probably get a copyright strike. That's why I just wanted to... Because I'm live on YouTube and it's playing, so yeah. G-Unit, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you believe like in aliens and that idea?
Really, not like
I do.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know why.
And so now that I just told you everything about outer space is fake, what does that do for you now?
Probably not aliens because
It's not. Yeah.
I'm pretty convinced that we are the only life form on the planet.
Physically, yes. Spiritually, that's another story and that's another conversation.
Exactly.
But
A
yeah.
whole nother day.
Yeah. But in terms of us, as we were created here on Earth, this whole Earth is ours, and we do not have dominion over the sky and the stars. We only have dominion on Earth. And so this is the only thing that we can really test.
Yeah, I'm actually mind blown.
So then how did you figure it was flat? Theory about flatness.
Yeah, about 18 months ago, I came across some provocative information, and I do have some of that here for you, and I just encourage you to check it out. Oh, no. This is my my YouTube channel.
Okay.
And you can grab all three of those if you want, and just hand those out if you don't mind. my lovely assistant. And yeah, you just YouTube this stuff. That's my channel right there.
Actually, I'd like to take one of these to work.
Yeah. And just, I'm just here to provoke thought, you know, and let people know that we have been lied to since we've been children.
Yeah.
And that outer space is not real, the earth is flat, and gravity doesn't exist.
They're both yours.
Authentic intent is, and then
As a science major, now I got a question.
Yeah, sure. Here's that guy.
Don't exist.
Well, again, we have to call things name, right? So we have to give it a name. And when they came up with the idea of gravity, it was about the celestial planets and how giant masses clung together, right? And were drawn together, right? But all 5 of us are standing here and neither of us are being drawn to each other. Okay. So having to call buoyancy and density something, you know, because something that just is heavier than the air around it doesn't mean it's, quote, gravity, and that the center mass of the earth is drawing it towards it. Do you just kind of see where I'm going? Like, I gotta reload. I get disconnected quite a bit because I am live, so. But my point is that they have to give a name to everything. It's just a nomenclature, the ability to name things and whatnot. And so with gravity not existing, they can't, it's just an easier way to explain away stuff. A lot of like how Christians say, well, I don't know but the Bible, you know, I don't know but God. Yeah. So with science being a religion, in my opinion, they can explain a lot of the things that they don't understand with, quote, theories and gravity.
And giving it a name.
And giving it a name. Yeah, and we trust these people, right? Like, because they supposedly went to school longer than us and, you know, whatnot. But there are particular people who are in the know to be able to come up with these ideas to deceive our mind and our children.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay. So then you've been looking into this for...
Yeah, 18 months or so, yeah.
Okay.
Yep, and so I just...
What strikes your interest?
Well, I don't conform. I don't conform very well to this reality, and so it just felt right when I heard it, and I just started to investigate it a little bit more. And I don't. Do you feel us moving right now?
Well,
No, of course not. But they say because of the theory of relativity, we're here in this atmosphere, and the atmosphere above us in outer space is different, right? That's how we don't feel ourselves moving.
Right.
But it has never been scientifically proven that the Earth is moving and spinning. So if anybody tells you that it has, they're lying to you, and they're taking somebody else's word for it.
Right.
And so that's what a lot of science is people get upset with me because I take a lot of what the Bible says as truth. But a lot of people who believe in science take what they're reading as truth, but it's still somebody else's word, right?
Yeah.
And so you don't know what their agenda is for them to tell you why things are the way that they are. In school, it just becomes nature or natural for us to believe what we're being taught because it's school, right? Why would these people lie to us, right? But it is indoctrination, and school and education, particularly in this country, is a prison for your mind so that you don't critically think. And since she does seem like she does critically think, she'll probably jump onto flat earth quickly.
Yeah.
So,
that's my critical thinker, of course.
Yeah.
Because my teacher told me,
Again, say how she started that statement, my teacher.
Yeah, right?
Okay,
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, we were talking about space or whatever because it's a unit that we're taught in school, and he told us we don't really know what the galaxy looks like because we have never really seen our own galaxy. And when you Google image pictures of a galaxy, it's just CGI.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
like, those are just like guesses of what the galaxy looks like.
Yeah.
Because we really don't know what those look like.
So are there other topics that you've actually decided are exploring topics, or is this just like your first topic?
Oh, no.
To explore?
To get to flat earth, a lot of the people in my community have just all kinds of conspiracies. Sandy Hook, nobody died. The Orlando Pulse nightclub shooting that happened last year, nobody died. These are all just psyops to create fear in this country and they have to give it to put out an enemy.
What other topics and subjects do you feel like fit into that?
Vaccines, chemtrails, 9/11.
What do you have to say about it?
No planes hit those towers, and that they were CGI'd on the TV, probably pre-planned already. And an aluminum can cannot go through a steel building. If you Google birds hitting airplane noses, you'll see how fragile airplanes really are. And so for the idea that an airplane could cause a steel building, which was quoted as being one of the strongest buildings ever built at the time, to collapse from just fire, that has never happened in human history.
What about the speed?
Has nothing to do with it. It was a missile that hit those towers. And the missile was, the planes were CGI'd over the airplane, or the missile. Yep. Because at no other point,
And your belief is that those missiles came from?
they were launched from our country. Our government did that to us. It's called a false flag, much like Hitler burnt his own parliament building down to start his idea. Yeah. So if you want to believe that type of idea, we do that type of stuff all the time here in this country, because it's a form of control.
Sure.
So
I asked because I just wanted to see what other areas or other subjects that, you know, fit.
yeah. Are you pretty familiar with 9/11?
Yeah, I know not like a lot about it, but I know that like
She was a little younger than him.
Okay, yeah, sure. What do you do? Do you know anything about Building 7? Do you have any idea that a third building collapsed just blocks away from the Twin Towers?
Oh yeah, I heard that.
Yep. So that was Building 7, and they said that it fell because of office fires. But the guy who owned the Twin Towers at the time, he said to pull it. And to pull it in building vernacular means to demolish it. Or because it's a controlled demolition, destroy it. Yeah. And a missile hit the Pentagon. The airplane that fell in Pennsylvania, they said that airplane disintegrated. That's such a massive lie, because an airplane that you can Google airplanes that crashed in fields.
Yeah.
There's plenty of wreckage to go around.
Yeah, there's wreckage.
Yeah. So it has changed the entire consciousness of Earth with 9/11, and I think that there will be another 9/11 happening soon. And I don't know what it is, but motive B of doing what they're doing. So, but as a whole, my point is to let people know that we have been lied to about where we live since we were born.
Probably before that.
Yeah, and before that. So, yeah.
Are you with any? Is this just you independently?
Yeah, this is me, myself, and I. I mean, sometimes maybe somebody will help donate, but I mean, as a whole, I use my own gas. I come out here and I just have a passion to wake people up, because I don't like to be lied to, even just to spare my feelings.
Right.
Because I think lying becomes a tradition in this country, and I'm kind of tired of it.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Lying in masks and, you know, the blankets, wool over your eyes, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Do you get lots of views on your live?
I do, yeah. Check it out. And I do have some links on the bottom that can help you guys explore more information and just have an open mind, you know, and have some discernment, because it's just my opinion until you investigate it yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So,
Sounds very interesting.
yeah, I appreciate it, ladies. Yeah. Thank you. And I will bid you adieu.
Yeah, keep
And
up the good work.
hey, thanks a lot. Have a good rest of your day. Thanks. Mind blown. Oh, what a beautiful day. It is really nice outside today. It's kind of cooled off a little bit. It was really hot earlier. Oh, now they want to talk. Thought he didn't want to be on camera, right? How's it going, folks? Good. Good. Did Did you guys have a question or? I'm just walking around, letting people know that satellites do not exist. Why?
Okay,
Why are you lying?
Yeah.
Satellites do exist because that's how your cell phone is working right now.
Okay. Okay. That's typically that's the typical response. But I can enlighten you.
Okay.
They might be drones or balloons with communication purposes to them. Did you know that NASA has a bigger balloon program than a shuttle program? Yeah, it's massive actually.
How big is it?
About 18 months or so.
What made you feel this way?
I have
You have actual like legitimate proof, or?
well, water doesn't curve.
What are you doing with your phone?
I'm on YouTube right now. I'm live.
How many people are following?
Millions. Here you go. Yeah.
Am I YouTube famous?
Yeah, you will be. That is not my YouTube channel. That's just some information to help.
We have your YouTube
Yeah, of course you can. That is mine. Right there. Authentic intent. There's another one. Yeah. And then this guy right here, he does a good explanation on the seasons on a flat Earth. A flat, motionless plane. We don't live in a ball.
Okay.
No.
Honestly, don't know what's going on.
And so,
Why do you think that though?
well, I can show you actually. The reason why I tell people that satellites don't exist is if you Google,
You have a picture of it, so clearly it exists. And
this
then
looks
you
like a
have-
real picture to you. Where is your discernment, young lady?
No, like you like.
It is.
If you go look online, there
This is what you get.
multiple pictures.
Do you have your cell phone on you?
Yes.
Okay. I will buy you dinner.
Satellite makes it work.
I will buy you dinner tonight, right now, if you can find a picture of a real satellite that's not CGI or a model.
That's some real shit, actually.
Because this is fake. This may or may not be a working model done by a bunch of 6th graders to win a contest, but this is on the ground.
So before 18 months ago, you believed that there was satellites?
I believed everything y'all believe right now.
So what made you think there wasn't?
Water doesn't curve.
What brought you upon that?
So like how many
In regards to what? That satellites don't exist? Everything that we get from NASA is CGI and paintings, and they admit this because they tell us.
So my uncle used to work for NASA, and he actually worked on satellites though.
Sure, and I'm sure he probably worked on something like this, and they told him that it went up to space, but they lied to him if he really believed that.
Alright.
So,
So let me ask you something.
well, I mean, that's,
It's your opinion. Like,
it is, yeah, that's cool, and it's my opinion until you investigate on your own time.
I do investigate.
Sure, and I encourage you to. Yeah,
Are
and
you conspiracists then, or like?
100%, yeah.
Real job?
No, I mean, it's just my passion to let people know
Yeah.
that we're being lied to since we were 4 years old. And so, what do these pictures look? If you could just answer that question, maybe pass that around or something. What size is the correct size in North America?
I guess I don't know the coordinates of the planet.
Just those are pictures from NASA, so you should be able to figure it out, right?
You want to know what side's North America on it?
Yeah, it should. Yeah, yep. Those are pictures from NASA.
Why'd you get these two pictures?
Because that's the biggest size that I could put on an 8x11 picture, man. Yeah.
How long have you been here today?
About 2 hours or so, and
You
I've
just been like live streaming 2 hours?
yeah, I have over 50 hours of content on my.
How many people watch your videos?
A lot. Yeah, I just started like on April 22nd, so.
So what other videos do you post?
I'm sorry?
What other kind of videos do you post? Are you just anti-NASA?
No, it's just mostly all live streams. Yeah, right now. Yep, yeah. No, I just have a couple hundred right now because I just started. Yeah.
You just like randomly got this epiphany to start telling people that.
Well, no, the information that I provided you will give you an idea of this information has been around for a long time, almost 7 years on YouTube.
So what made you decide to stumble upon this? How many
Yeah.
tabs asked did you take to realize that?
Have I tried to contact NASA? No. No. Why? Because they're gonna lie to me. Why do I have to? If you were engaged or married or had a relationship with another guy, and he cheated on you 3 or 4 times, when would it get to a point where you would just walk away?
The second time.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, well, I mean, you know. Yeah.
I'm just being honest.
Okay. Well,
I'm just being honest.
if it is the first time, then once I found out that everything that NASA gives us in regards to outer space is a cartoon, they're lying to us.
Like what?
You can laugh all you want, man, but until you investigate it,
You like just up at a beach telling people this.
Yeah, I am. I gotta meet people where they're at, man. Would it ever even cross your mind that the Earth is flat and not a ball?
No. I mean, I've heard
and that's why I'm here.
I mean, like, yeah, man, I remember Columbus.
With that being said,
That shit is
That's a fucking big continental right there.
Now that's history.
oh, who gives a rip? No, but in regards to like all of this right here,
No.
they admit that these are all CGI paintings. NASA did. These are official.
I don't know, but yeah. Like,
Yeah.
what credible sources did you get that from besides NASA?
NASA. NASA's not a credible source to you at this moment?
I mean, you're
Okay, but I'm telling you that I got these pictures from NASA, and all of the pictures that they've given us since 1972 are admitted to be fake and paintings.
Hey, you turn this into any teacher, any boss
So,
anywhere, they're gonna laugh at you, man.
I don't care, man. I don't care to be laughed at. I've had over 50 hours. So .edu is a credible source. .gov is a credible source. So you're raised in a country that when you have a police officer behind you, you tense up, your heart beats, and you start.
What? I do.
Hey, man, if you're doing illegal shit, but I don't do illegal shit.
Well, I'm just saying. I'm saying that we are. I'm saying that overall, school is used to indoctrinate your mind and it prisons your thoughts, so you can't critically think.
Did you feel that way in high school, though? Or like,
Did I feel like this? Like when I'm doing? No, not really. No, not really. No.
so you're post high school, obviously.
Yeah, I'm significantly older than you might think. Yeah. I just have a young face. Yeah. I just turned 36.
Oh, shit.
Yep.
Do you work?
I may or may not work, but does that make this any more or less credible?
I'm just seeing if you're working on it.
No, my passion to wake my fellow Minnesotans and human beings up to the lies and deception of this reality, that's why I do this. And whether I get paid for it or not would not change my desire to continue to do this. And I do it at the state capitol too. So if you go onto my channel, last week I was at the Minnesota State Capitol doing the same thing. Just hanging onto the sign and walking inside the building and letting anybody who wanted to communicate with me that NASA is a lie.
Okay,
So,
but if you don't believe satellites are real, then how do you think your phone and your TV and everything electronically works?
okay, so if you Google,
Dude, balloons explode after they go a certain point in the atmosphere.
yeah, helium balloons. No, it might be the information that I'm providing everybody on a regular basis.
I love the way you talk.
And so, when you Google the Newsweek article, they tell you that 99% of communication done on Earth is through undersea cables and ground towers. Okay, so from Europe to America, there are undersea fiber optic cables. Okay, and so when you get to land, you have ground towers. Your GPS, or also known as ground positioning towers,
Let me stop you real quick.
your cell phone coordinates 3 or 4 towers to give you your location.
You know how you have satellite.
But you didn't let me finish, and you didn't even hear what I had to say,
You've
man.
been talking this whole time, and we've been.
Well, yeah, because she just asked me a question, and I got 5 of you
I
here.
already know the answer to that. I already know.
So, no, you don't.
Yeah. Oh, you're right. I don't know about ground towers under sea shit.
Yeah, but satellites aren't used to do that.
I'm asking you.
Okay.
When I use a satellite phone that cannot be, I can't like tap into it.
Uh-huh.
What's like connect to it?
Okay.
Connect to your tower. Doesn't connect to undersea shit. How do I contact someone in India with a satellite phone? There's no satellites.
Yeah, and my explanation of that, I don't know everything, but because the Earth being flat might be an enclosed system, so they could bounce off the microwaves from the ceiling down to your location.
So you're telling me there's no space?
There's no outer space. It's all fake. I just told you that everything NASA gives us is CGI.
Wait, you don't believe in outer space?
No, of course not.
Nope.
I just told you it's all CGI.
But I'm so confused. So where do you? Okay, so you believe that there's no space shuttles on the?
No.
So how does
No ISS.
So what about the people that are in the space shuttle, though? You just believe that that's made up?
Did you see them go into the space shuttle yourself with your own physical eyes?
Feelings on it. Almost did. Yeah, he was on the list.
Okay, well he didn't, right?
He almost did. He was beat out because of his height.
Okay, but he didn't. Okay. Okay.
But
My point is that you're taking somebody else's word for it, and you're not seeing it with your own physical eyes, and they use. This is my opinion, and it's my opinion until you investigate.
Where do astronauts come from?
Yeah, that's fine. But the one thing that I'm just trying to convey to you is that you need to start questioning what you're being taught and what you're being told.
And the whole concept of this isn't necessarily satellites are real. It's mostly just you think the government is feeding us the wrong information. It's basically the synopsis of this.
No, my point is from the idea that I've presented to you, that satellites and the pictures of Earth from space are all paintings. Okay, fake. See what I'm saying? Like, they're fake. They don't exist. Okay? So with that being said, it will lead you to the idea that the Earth is flat and not a spinning ball like we're taught.
But why would they lie about that?
Okay, are you familiar with like New York Stock Exchange and stuff like that? Okay. Do you think that if a mineral or a resource is scarce, it would increase the value of that said mineral or source? Okay. And so if they tell us that we live on a ball and all those resources are limited, do you think that if we had an infinite plane with unlimited resources, money, and whatnot, that they would hide that from us to keep us in bondage? Okay, then that might be the reason why they're hiding a flat plane and giving us the ball Earth. You know?
It makes some sense.
I mean...
So then, how do you think the solar system works?
I'm sorry?
How do you think the solar system works and all the other planets?
The solar system does not exist, honey.
Okay, there's the sun, there's the moon.
Okay, the sun... Okay, can I give you a diagram here? And so, this right here, can I have you hold this just for a second? Okay, so... The seasons, okay?
Alright.
This is the Earth. It is immovable. It cannot be moved, okay? It's stationary.
So is the sun.
Okay, but I'm going to show you.
No, not so much.
Okay, so we do not revolve around the sun. The sun revolves around us. So my finger is the sun, and it just goes like this. So it's going to go over us during the summer, and as it becomes winter, it goes further away from us on a more wider elliptical rotation here.
Horizon the whole time, I should be able to see it in the sky.
Well, it's just the sun right now is just getting further away from us. Why is it that you can look directly at the sun right now, but when it's above us, you can't?
If you're saying that, it'd be going in this way.
It's just perspective, man.
If the planet's not round, then
Yeah.
you should be able to see it on the other side of your slate.
In terms of what? What do you mean?
If it's a flat surface planet, then you should be able to see the sun all the bumfuck way over
time
there.
zones.
There are separate time
But
zones.
there shouldn't be then if there is
not
no...
round, why would there be separate time zones?
Well, like I said, I don't know everything. I'm just trying to give you an idea that the sun.
That just stumped your whole...
No, it didn't stump it because I gave you a YouTube channel of a guy who presents a better presentation of the seasons than I do.
You need to listen to that shit,
Only
bro.
personal observations. I don't need to listen to school, man. So when you're telling me that I need to listen to my education, don't tell me that, okay? Because I don't believe them.
Say anything about school.
So, but that's what you are telling me. I need to listen to something.
Where's your list of sources?
.edu is a credible source.
So you need to carry that with you.
I don't have to carry anything with me because this is my opinion. And so I do have sources that I can have you watch that give you a better presentation than I do about your questions. I'm just here to provoke your thought, okay? That's all I am here.
It's agree to disagree. I mean, you can have your opinion, I can have mine, vice versa.
Sure, but until you investigate it.
But my opinion is investigated. I don't think you realize
Right now, you've investigated flat Earth and everything that I've explained to you.
I lived with conspiracists for over 6 months, so tell me I know.
And you knew about flat Earth 6 months ago?
Yup, she would talk about it, she doesn't believe that it's round either.
Round like a pizza or a ball?
No, she would think the Earth is flat.
Okay.
She say it to me all the time.
Sure.
She would try to give me weird ways of planning.
Okay, so you have been presented with truth and you reject it. Okay.
No, you've been presented with truth and rejected.
Yep. What truth would that be?
The truth that is given to you.
The truth that we're given in our educational system? Is that what you're saying? Where they only give you one viewpoint of evolution?
Educational system, like, I don't really care. Like, that's your opinion.
Okay, sure, but what you're being taught is what you want to hang on to, and you're defending the very people that are deceiving your mind. And I'm trying to, because you believe that we live on a spinning ball.
And you believe we don't even have space. Like,
Yeah,
it's
you're right.
disagree.
Yep.
Like, you can have your opinions, I can have mine.
Sure, and I hope that as you journey through the rest of your life that you do have an epiphany. So,
Hey, get on this Facebook Live video. Who is this?
I'm Joshua. How you doing?
Hi.
Hi.
He doesn't believe the world is round.
Round like a pizza or a ball?
Are you one of those people who think the Earth is flat?
I know that the Earth is flat.
You're so stupid.
Yeah. I'm stupid because why? I don't agree with our educational system.
No, because you don't believe in modern science.
Modern science? Like pseudoscience and outer space?
Yo, I'm just here to get high. I don't need to.
Does this look like a picture of a real satellite? You believe in CGI images or in outer space, right? Hey, that's fine. If that's what you want to believe, that Disney makes real images of outer space. I hope you guys have a good afternoon. Thanks.
So.
All right. I got 20% of my battery, so I think I'll run my battery low, and then we'll go from there. Really good stuff. Oh, we got a mobile camera. All right. Thanks everybody for stopping by. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe this. Or like, share, and subscribe my previous episodes if you like those better. Right? This is all unscripted. We do not know who we're going to talk to, what we're going to talk about, and for how long. But I do enjoy doing this, guys. I really appreciate everybody watching live or in the future. And we're just here to provoke thought. I want to wake these people up. Just a dose of red pill right in the face. The Earth is flat, man. And then see if we can create some fruit out of this, you know? We're here because I want to go over there and watch them, but I don't want 8 drunks talking to me about how they believe the Earth is a ball. So we'll just avoid them. Planting seeds. Somebody will water it, right? I'm just planting seeds. Somebody will water it later, I hope. I hope these people will come across some kind of epiphany and want to research stuff on their own time. How you folks doing? Hey guys, how you doing? Good. I just got walking around with this sign. What do you think of it?
Satellite doesn't exist.
Yeah, satellites do not exist. Nope.
Okay.
Yeah, what do you think about that statement?
I don't really know.
Okay, let me go over here. Could you give me some evidence onto why satellites do exist?
I've seen them in the sky before.
You've seen them in the sky?
Yeah.
What do they look like?
A little green dot.
Okay, a dot.
Yeah.
So that means it's a satellite?
I mean, maybe.
Okay, well, I mean, a dot in the sky, what does that mean, though? Could it be a drone?
It could be.
Okay, could it be a balloon with communication purposes to it?
A balloon.
Yeah, you know, stuff like that. Okay. Have you ever Googled image satellites in space?
Not really.
No, probably would never cross your mind, right? Right? But, coincidentally enough, I do have a picture of a satellite in space. Look at that.
Yeah.
What does that guy look like?
Looks a little fake.
Looks fake as F, right? Yeah. It is. And they admit that it is. And if you Google image satellites in space, guess what you get? This. All of them. All of them. And some of them might look like cheap models, you know, because before a particular time and, you know, recently we just started having CGI and whatnot. So they did use models back then with NASA.
So then how would we get our like Google images or like our pictures of Earth from like that high up?
Okay, yeah, let me show you. Coincidentally enough, I got a picture of that too. Yeah, so what size is America?
It's awfully large.
It is large. Okay, so out of these two pictures, these are both NASA photos. Which one is a realistic representation of Earth? Okay, why are you guys... Consensus? Vote?
I'm thinking...
No? Okay, we got a left and a right, and what about you? You're the tiebreaker. Okay, we say that guy right there. these are both official NASA photos admitted to be paintings.
Wow.
Yeah, they're fake. And these are just two of about a dozen since 1972 where they admit that they are fake and we don't know where we live. Yeah.
That's interesting.
But then wait.
They admitted that?
Yep, they do. Yeah, they admit it. And actually on some of these photos you can look underneath the small print and it says computer renderer. Yeah.
What about this type of satellite?
Yep.
Like, you know what I mean?
Sure, yeah, like your GPS, Google Maps and stuff. Once you get to a certain height, it turns into a cartoon ball. Okay? But once you get to a certain height where you can see streets and stuff, again, may or may not be a drone.
Be an airplane or something.
Yeah.
Okay, we're at.
That's gonna be something to think about.
I hope so, yeah. Has it ever crossed your mind that the Earth is flat and not a ball?
I think it's a ball.
Okay.
I don't think it's flat.
Okay.
I mean, it kind of just looks like a ball.
Yeah.
And what evidence do you have to provide me with that it is a ball?
Lateral and longitude.
Okay.
Okay.
Just call me when you're here.
So you have no like evidence that you personally can provide
Well, you could also
that you've seen?
You can. I don't have any experience, but you could basically fly around the world like the.
Our shadows.
Yeah.
With the sun.
Okay. Yeah. That no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the question?
Whether the Earth is flat or a ball. Yeah.
Because then there wouldn't be much night or day unless the sun was moving.
Okay. Yeah. And the sun does move.
Yeah, but.
And the Earth is motionless and stationary. Yeah. It's a flat plane, man. Like a pizza, for example. And the sun right now is just getting further away from us. Okay? And I do have like an image. I know it's hard because you guys have the ball in your head, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but if you could just be my little assistant, that would be terrific. And so, see how this is Antarctica, okay? And this may or may not be the wall that holds all the water in, okay? So we're not like, I mean, as a flat earther, we're not like gung-ho about this particular map because we've never been there before. But it does help illustrate for people who have never come across this idea to simplify it for you a little bit. Okay? And so my finger is going to be the sun. Now remember, this does not move. Only the sun and the moon move, okay? And so we're going to start here over this part of the country, and the sun just goes around us like that. See how that's the North Pole? And so this is how we have our summer months. And as it becomes more winter and cold, it just goes further and further out. And it just keeps spinning and then going in, and then kind of like a spiral type effect. Okay?
So that's why it's summer, winter here. It's summer in the southern hemisphere.
Yeah. And it only gets about like 55-ish degrees in Australia. It's not as cold as it is here. But when the sun is further away from us, it does get pretty cold, right?
Then it gets warmer down there.
But then it gets warmer down there. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm surprised I love conspiracy theories and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Is this a conspiracy theory?
This is the biggest, quote, conspiracy of all time. It's where we live. Because if we believe that we live on a ball hurtling millions of miles through space, right? That's not true. That's a deception.
But then what about asteroids?
I don't have an explanation for that. I don't know all the answers. But there is a company in Japan that does actually create shooting stars.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah. So they do use a lot of simulation to create the illusion of stuff coming from outer space. But as I just showed you of the two pictures here of the satellite being CGI and the Earth being CGI, could that lend to some investigation that Mars, Jupiter, galaxies, and all that are also CGI?
Yeah.
I mean, it could.
What about the moon?
Okay, the moon is not a physical object to be landed on.
Yeah, that's true. I've heard the conspiracy.
Yeah,
I've heard that.
Sure.
You haven't? Because like there's like wind on the flag, like in space there's no wind.
It looks like that, like they did it in like a
to like beat Russia in the army.
yeah. It's interesting.
Yeah, in regards to that, you familiar with that idea of us landing on the moon and getting the picture and stuff? Have you all been in an airplane before?
Yes.
Okay. And so all four of us are going to go into an airplane, okay? And I'm going to show you how they faked the image of the Earth from the first moon landing while they were traveling there, okay? So in the airplane cabin, we're gonna black out all the windows, okay? And then it's pitch dark in there, right? Have you ever been to a cave before? Inside of a cave, right? We all been to, most of us have gone to a cave here. You can't even see the hand in front of your face, right? That's how dark it is. And so if, now the plane cabin is completely pitch black. On one of the window panels, we're gonna remove one of those shades. So we're just allowing one of those windows to have light into the cabin, okay? Now what if we were to have somebody on the outside put a transparency of this painting of Earth over that window? Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then we back up a little bit and we take a picture of that. So the blackness is, quote, space, but then we have a picture of the Earth there. And then they say that they're 130,000 miles away, and they just lied to you. When they really were just in low Earth orbit. They've never been to the moon. Nobody's ever been to outer space. So roll with that.
Yeah.
Put that in your pipe and smoke it, right?
So then would NASA just be a front cover for everything?
Yeah, it's a front for lies and deception, and the word NASA actually means deception, the original name. If you check it out, it does mean deception. And so I do have some, I just have one thing on my channel, so if you want to share that with them, that's my channel right there, Authentic Intent. And then I do have this guy here. He does a really good, better explanation of the seasons on a flat plane than I do. And then what else do I have for you? There are some links on the bottom of my on my video that would help provide you with some more information about whatnot. So those three guys right there will set you off in the right direction, hopefully.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
It's been a very interesting talk. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just here to meet people where they're at, you know, because it would never cross your mind.
Yeah.
So, and there are a lot of Google Hangouts, live stuff. Like I'm live right now on YouTube, but there are other communities that have hi. But there are other communities that do stream live broadcasts that have debates, and once you get into this, you might never get out. So it is it is really provocative. So it can become addicting. So the truth is addicting. So
How many people are watching right now?
watching right now, about 35, 40 or so. And yeah.
Okay, yeah, thanks.
Thanks guys. Have a good rest of your afternoon. Thanks. And boom goes the dynamite. All right. Thanks, guys. And gals, of course, the ladies. Don't forget about them. So we got about 10 or 15 minutes. Maybe we can try to squeeze in one more interaction. I'll just start walking towards my car. Thanks, folks. Hey, Infinite Plane, thanks for stopping by. Hope your jog is going well. Your jog on a treadmill. I used to use a treadmill. Didn't do very well on my legs though. That's why this path right here, people walk or ride bikes off of the hard trail. So I did listen to your live stream earlier, Infinite. It was very informative. So we got about 10 more minutes or so of battery life. We closed it down yesterday. It was pitch dark. On my phone, it looked like you guys could see because it was lit up on my screen, but then when I went home and I saw it, it was like black. So, whatever. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Terrific, man. How you doing, fellas? Good, good. Yeah, I saw that. I saw Mad Mike. He looks like a really interesting guy, man. Got to check that out. I hope we were able to get some propaganda to put on his rocket for Flat Earth. That would be great. That's funny though, because he's a rocket guy, and I guess he never crossed his mind to think it was a flat plane, huh? He just found out about it. Oh, I'm just walking around letting people know that satellites don't exist.
They don't?
They do not. No.
How do you know that?
Have you ever seen a satellite with your own physical eyes?
No.
No, neither have I. But you see lights in the sky, right? And people think that those are satellites.
So you think it's like a propaganda thing?
Well, I can show you.
Why do you think it's fake though?
I can show you. Does this look like a picture of a real satellite?
I don't know what it looks like.
Okay, this is what they tell us a satellite looks like, okay?
Okay.
That guy. But where is this picture?
I don't know. Where did you get it?
Yeah, well, this satellite's on the ground.
Okay.
Right? And so when they tell us a satellite is in space, it's a picture. This is a drawing. So it's not real. And all I find on the internet is drawings and CGI about satellites in space.
But how do we get like...
My cell phone, right, for example? Yeah. It's just ground towers, like this guy right here. You know?
So why would they put like fake images of satellite in space?
Because people believe it, regardless of whether I tell them that's fake or not. And people just think that satellites are up there because like people, the liars like Elon Musk, tell us that SpaceX is launching satellites into orbit.
Yeah.
They're deceiving your mind and making you believe something that's not true. And you're conditioned since you're young to believe that outer space is real. So you never even cross your mind that it would ever be a deception.
Wait, so outer space is not real?
No, not at all.
Wait, so what is beyond the sky then?
It may or may not be just a dome, like a snow globe, for example.
No way.
Way, totally.
What? That is so crazy.
Yeah, I could pick up your brain if you want.
But there's Moon and Mars. So those are all made up, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, they're just unique lights in the sky. And so when they give us images of Mars, that's all CGI.
But what about...
Did you know, can I give you...
But what about rocket that we send up to the moon?
Okay, do you see those rockets with your own physical eyes or on TV?
On TV.
Yeah. Just question that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
So with Mars, you remember the rover that we had on Mars?
Yeah.
Did you know that that may or may not be just Devon Island? It's like an area, I think in Canada,
Sure.
that they're using, and then they just tint out the atmosphere to make it look like a Mars, and it's really not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I was just wondering, because I saw you walking that way and you coming back with a sign of a satellite, so I just wanted to know what you were doing.
Oh yeah, sure, yeah. I'm just letting people know that outer space is fake and the Earth is flat and not a ball.
No way.
Yeah.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to know what you're doing.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. I do have some information
Okay.
I'd love for you to check out.
Alright, cool. I'll check it out.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of a cool idea, but yeah, okay.
Okay, awesome. Yeah.
All right.
Have a good rest of your day. Thanks. All right. That was about it. I think that was about it. All right, so I don't know if we can interact with anybody else. Thanks, guys and gals, everybody. How you doing? All right. Just trying to get an idea of who else to talk to? I don't think that there's really anybody else available. All right, hope everybody else is doing well out there on the flat plain. All right. All right, hey guys. Yeah, thanks, Jeff. I'm just gonna walk to my car, back to my car. I'm pretty much dead on battery. I think I can make it about, I'm at about 2 hours and 45 minutes or so. That's about how long I can go on a full charge without having to carry my battery pack around. So I try to do that when I can, so I don't have the cord dangling around. And so I usually do that with my first stream, and then my second stream I don't have to use a battery pack. Okay, so what do you think? How do you think today went, guys and girls? I think it went pretty well. Had some good interactions. Oh, there's some activity up here. A little Jerry Springer action, maybe. Let's show you this. Hey, Florida, thanks for stopping by. Florida in the house. I've actually traveled to Florida quite a bit. I've been to Naples and Miami and whatnot. So we got the establishment regulating the park area. So all right, yeah, I will. I'll regulate. I'll keep that in mind. Yeah, I will keep that in mind. So I hope you all were entertained. I hope you had a good time. I tried to keep it fresh, you know. I know that this is redundant for a lot of you guys, but I never know who I'm gonna talk to. I never know who I'm gonna interact with. All my interactions are unscripted, and so I don't know who I'm gonna talk to. But I do feel confident with the information that I have to be able to feel confident about what I'm trying to deliver. So let me just check the yeah, Dredd, I think he does live in Florida somewhere, Jacksonville maybe. I try to keep up with your comments, but you know, it's hard to while I'm talking to people. But if you do want to private message me, I got your information, Days, about your idea of some new posts and whatnot.
Where are you charging?
And so different ideas for signage and stuff, because I do want to provoke thought in other ways, but I think one of the most important things that I want to kind of hang on to is outer space being all CGI, you know, because that's one thing that is proved and admitted, and I think it would be nice to be able to set up some kind of experiment that I could do simple for people right here. So we'll come up with some ideas to do some experimentation later. If you guys got any ideas, I take in all the information, you know, I take in all the opinions and what everybody else has to offer, you know, regardless of what other people might think of you. So, but the earth is flat and it's not a ball, and we need to keep pressing forward, and we need to stop allowing drama to affect the truth. You know, why we're in this, because we're gonna have drama. We're human beings, you know, so we're gonna have division, we're gonna have provocateurs, but at least, to an extent, the truth is getting out there. Unfortunately, at times, it does seem like it is under their own narrative and who they want it to go through. But I hope that I'm able to help provide you guys with some confidence that there are some real flat earthers out there. And so will the real flat earthers please stand up? Please stand up. And yeah, well, I don't have a P900, so maybe I could start a fund for that, right? I do have an idea. Somebody sent me an idea of how to do experiment, and I'd have to go up to Lake Superior to do it. But I'd probably need like me and 2 or 3 other people to do it, because we'd have to rent a boat, if that makes any sense. So yeah, so I'm open to it, but as of right now, we'll just keep doing what I'm doing. Alex, what is the largest lake by you? Lake Minnetonka is probably the biggest lake, and so might be able to do something with that, but I got to see I got to get at least 8 miles in to see some significant curvature. So I got to find something that's about 8 miles away. Lake Superior clearly would be able to do that, but that's probably about a 10-hour drive for me. But yeah, appreciate it, Days, all your mods, everybody. I will go over some stuff and try to make things better for you guys so that you're entertained more. But I really appreciate everybody stopping by. And I guess, I'm going to ramble here for a little bit. I don't want to digress too much, but I just want to thank you, That's it. I appreciate you. I appreciate your time taking to watch live all of it or some of it. I know that this can go on for quite a while, so it can be hard to, watch because you got better things to do. I understand. But this is a movement of people who have a desire to wake others up. And just appreciate you. I do, a lot. And so I just want to let you guys know that. And yeah. So after this episode, this is Authentic Intent, and we're signing off. We'll see you soon.